can't get away from the hot sun. Always night, it's never day. Even when I watch the floor, the dust will come. Keep on hunting for the prey. No matter how lost, need no light, no spark. I'm in line mode. With my eyes closed, I can see in the dark. I'm a quiet storm, far from calm. I know you feel me, brother.
elevate souls and I spread good vibes. Young divine, you know I gotta shine. Raise your hands for a good time. Aye.
Live until the morning, sleep until the noon. You said that you want it, so I got it for you. Let's all get together and show them how we move. We move, we move. 3, 2, bringing summer to you.
Ready, let's go. Cause you know how we roll. Let's take it round the world and back again. Ready, let's go. Cause you know like I know we'll take it round and round. Yo, hold up, let me switch my flow up. Back in high school, they were telling me I'll blow up. Doing talent shows and man, everyone will show up. Got in an accident and still made it for them to go nuts. You know what? I'm so what? I'm so That means I can't describe the way I vibe, the way I slide. And with the rhymes that make the dimes, I'll close their eyes and fantasize. Young divine calling their phone number. Yeah. Girl, you know I love you. And you know me, I can't sleep without blazing beats on stages for their ones gracefully. And I got a smile that they hate to see. Young black successful, though life gets stressful. Though life gets stressful, go and vibe out with whoever you next to.
Live until the morning, sleep until the noon. You said that you want it, so I got it for you. Let's all get together and show them how we move. We move, we move. 3, 2, bringing summer to you. Ready, let's go. Cause you know how we roll.
Let's take it round the world and back again. Ready, let's go. Cause you know like I know we'll take it round and round again.
We're so far, but so far from close. It's so hard to find my destiny. Try not to drift apart, cause you'll be right back at the start. And I don't wanna keep on falling. I gotta stay recalling memories we've lost and found. Explain to me what it's all about.
back. I know what I want, but it seems so damn far away. I know I sound crazy. place, then you better use it. Tell yourself day after day it's time to prove it. No days off, keep the hustle moving. Wanna see you be what you wanted to be, prove it. I know I sound crazy to the ones who said oh. I know I empower those who dream like me. I know I sound crazy to the ones who said oh. I know I empower those who dream like me. And you say you wanna be somebody. And you say you wanna be somebody. And you say you wanna be somebody.
These are those moments I don't think anybody else is going to forget.
Hello and welcome back to ESL 1 New York, powered by Intel. My name is Dinko, and I have the pleasure of taking you through the action here on the B stream today. We have got lots of games going on, though. We've got 2 simultaneous streams. Over on the A stream that you see in the bottom right, we have got Astralis taking on Evil Geniuses, the newly rebranded team. And obviously, following that, we've got ENCE versus G2. A bit of a rematch from yesterday. ENCE will be looking for revenge. But here on the B stream, we have got OpTic versus FaZe. Only the one best of 3 here in the B stream today, but it's going to be an excellent one. FaZe, obviously, with their new roster. OpTic looking to try and prove what they're worth here, finally back at a big LAN. Although yesterday there was lots of action, plenty of action in fact, so we can't blame you if you missed any of it. So here's a little bit of a recap of what happened here on the B stream. Well, lots of crazy plays yesterday, and make sure you have your say on these plays using our social media hashtag ESL1. Very easy to remember. It is in the title of the tournament. So head over to Twitter, Instagram, any social media of your choosing, and interact with that hashtag. My name is, of course, Tinko, but I'm not going to be alone here. I have got Hawker joining me here on the desk, and well, we have got some incredible matchups coming up today, but why don't we take a little bit of a look at yesterday? What really jumped off the page for you?
Yeah, I think personally I really enjoyed watching that ENCE versus G2 game, just to see if ENCE were going to be able to show up with the firepower, and it kind of came through for them, but then G2 were able to come out on top in the end, and that's really exciting to see because we normally expect this ENCE team to be up there with one of the best teams in the world. So to see G2 play so well is also great.
Yeah, of course. G2 obviously winning that series 2-0. Dust 2 was looking pretty rough at the start, obviously being the pick of G2, but they managed to come back. They get it done in a 2-0 fashion. Over on the B stream, we started with Liquid versus E United, and that was an incredible matchup as well because there was a lot of crazy things going on. E United, obviously the lowest ranked team in this tournament, decided to pick Overpass, one of Liquid's best maps, against them in this series. It's pretty crazy stuff, and they actually played it pretty close.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad showing by E United at all. We were saying that, you know, with Freakazoid coming into the roster, they might have some issues, but Freakazoid played pretty well for them. E United not able to get the win, but like you were saying, definitely some positive signs considering the disparity between these teams in terms of the rankings.
Yeah, unfortunately, E United did fall to the lower bracket where they had to play against ENCE. Unfortunately, they didn't quite make it through. So E United no longer in the tournament, but they do have some positive signs to take from it. They're a brand new team. They've just added Freakazoid, and while they had definitely some great performances with him and his brother Cooper, they had some crazy sort of synergy going on. And I guess that's just the family gene, Alex.
Yeah, apparently. They really did work well together, and I'm sure that this United team into the future will be able to, especially in the sort of NA scene, they should be able to do a pretty solid job. You'd expect them to turn into a good NA team.
Yeah, and yesterday, obviously, with G2 winning their match, they went on to play G2, who have been sort of pitted at this team being dead, right? This team isn't really a team anymore. They've got Kiyoshima standing in for them, but Team Liquid kind of struggled against them. They dropped a map 2-1. They did win in the end, but definitely not the result G2 would be looking that Liquid would be looking for.
Yeah, and we also saw that man Kenny S have a really great performance, which is always what you want to see for G2. We know that Kenny is capable of taking over games. His AWP was looking really, really solid. Lucky had some good maps as well, which has maybe been somewhat missing for G2. So there are, again, good signs for G2. Even with them having Keo coming in for this tournament, it still looks like they're looking pretty solid as a team, which we weren't necessarily expecting.
Exactly, and obviously in that matchup, G2 realistically could have taken it against Liquid in a 2-1 fashion, right? They went to overtime on Inferno. They definitely could have picked that one up. Crazy stuff going on, but of course that was Group A. We have also got another group coming up, and obviously that was Group B. And that we started that one with Astralis versus OpTic. And day on day in action, OpTic obviously just back to playing at these LAN events, whereas Astralis just off the back of another major win. So things are definitely not looking good for the OpTic side, but they actually managed to do pretty good damage on Vertigo, just couldn't quite get it over the line.
Yeah, like you were saying, a bit of a difference in terms of these teams recently, with Astralis being off the back of the major win, playing these big tournaments, OpTic playing their first big event in a while. And like we were saying, this Vertigo map was very back and forth, very, very close affair between these two teams. And I'm glad that OpTic showed us the capability of picking Vertigo, because that's always something that you can have available that can give you the advantage in these vetoes.
Yeah, we definitely seen Vertigo come through a little bit yesterday. We didn't see it once or twice. We've seen quite a few times, right? And it's pretty crazy to see come through. We're seeing lots of different ways to play that CT side. But why don't we take a little bit of a closer look in towards the bracket for Group A? Because obviously that has a lot of great matchups coming into it, and Team Liquid nearly getting surprised by G2. But obviously they take the 2-0 win against E United. They move on to play G2. And over with E United taking on ENCE. ENCE, they do get it done against E United as expected, even showing weaknesses.
Yeah, and that means that we get the rematch of ENCE versus G2 in that decider game. G2 were really hard-pressed in that win in the opening matchup, so I'm sure ENCE will be looking to bounce back in that one.
Exactly. ENCE, I feel like, definitely will steadily improve it coming into this tournament. We obviously had the quote from Sunny that he didn't feel like that he was going to lose that game. He felt like it's not really a bad thing. They're not feeling too bad about it, because they definitely have obviously just made this roster, so there isn't going to be that period straight away where they're feeling super confident. They need to let Sunny sort of develop into the team. It's going to be a very different atmosphere than when they had Alexa B in the team.
Yeah, and we also have to remember that Sunny took a fairly long break from actual competitive Counter-Strike. There is that quote that you were talking about. Yeah,
of course. Well, Sunny's saying we weren't that sad about the loss because it was in our hands, and we didn't lose because they were a better team. So confident words. I'm looking forward to seeing if he can capitalize on it. He actually turned that into a reality up against G2 in their rematch today.
Yeah, I think that basically suggests to me that ENCE realize they are still a fairly new roster. They realize that Sunny maybe isn't hitting his peak form just yet. So they're understanding that they might lose some of these games that they definitely could be winning in the future. But for the time being, they might just have to work their way up until they can get these sorts of wins.
Exactly. And I think, obviously, with that rematch going down, we'll probably see quite a few of the similar maps come through, because obviously these teams haven't had too much time to practice. They'll probably go back to their comfort ground, and well, that one could definitely provide some interesting results, to say the least. But of course, Group B, we obviously have talked about that a little bit, but we can also take a closer look at the bracket for Group B. Obviously, starting with Astralis taking on OpTic. Astralis ended up walking away with Dust 2 16-1, but we talked about the closeness of Vertigo. Evil Geniuses, though, we haven't really talked about them. Taking on FaZe Clan, this new look with Cold, Astralis, they're going to be the team that you just have to top this group based on everything we know. On paper, they have to be the team that walk through, but Evil Geniuses could definitely be one of the teams that could upset them.
Yeah, thinking back to the major, Evil Geniuses were one of the teams that definitely tested Astralis, so I could definitely see them really putting up a fight in that winning matchup. And both of those opening matchups for those teams were somewhat similar, where they were both kind of favored. Yeah. They managed to get the win 2-0 fairly convincingly. Some close maps, but overall, Evil Geniuses were able to come through against FaZe, even though they had quite a slow start on Nuke. They did a solid job at getting back into that one.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? FaZe, you know, they are a team that have got this new sort of look to them. They've brought in every single star player you can think of. You've got Colsera, you've got Nico, they had Guardian, but he's gone, and Brokey is in the team. So you've got the likes of Brokey, who's completely brand new, and then you've got a tenured player like Colsera, who's won majors, who's been the best player in the world for 2 years straight. He's definitely got a lot of backing in terms of that, but Brokey coming into this tournament is a little bit of a question mark, and so far he's actually been performing.
Yeah, so far Brocky's been pretty solid for this FaZe squad, which is definitely an important factor for them. He was their top fragger yesterday, which is not what we were expecting. And it was also on maps that you maybe wouldn't think would be suited to a player who's just coming up into a team. Maps like Nuke and Vertigo. That's where you really normally rely on the team play. Yeah. So to see him show up was very impressive.
Yeah, that's the thing as well, right? Because a lot of people were expecting FaZe to go towards some of these puggy maps, but they definitely went to more tactical maps, which makes this performance from Brokey even more impressive. And, well, there's got to be a lot of confidence throwing through his veins at the minute after all the hype that Nico's been putting into interviews about him and stuff as well. But taking a look at New York overall, right, this tournament has a lot on the line for the big teams. So if we've got Liquid, we've got Astralis, we've got the small storylines as well. But Liquid versus Astralis, this is the main storyline that everybody wants to see. We want to see that best-of-5 grand final with Astralis taking on Liquid to really vie for that spot as the #1 team in the world. And while Twist in his looser interview at the Major had obviously said, well, they're winning this one.
Yeah, and even though he said they're winning this one, they haven't exactly been 100% so far throughout this tournament. Like you said, that game against G2 came very close. It hasn't felt like the Liquid that we've known from the past. Maybe some of the individuals looking a little weaker than we would expect in some specific rounds. But this squad has so much skill that even when some of their individuals don't show up, they're always going to have enough firepower to at least compete.
Yeah, well, we obviously took a little bit of a look at Brokey, because this is obviously going to be the game that's on stream today, is FaZe versus OpTic. Well, a player yesterday who wasn't playing too badly himself, even in the 16-1 defeat, he was making some crazy plays, is Cajun B, the newest addition to the team.
Yeah, Cajun has been playing a really passive lurk role for OpTic, but that's because he's able to have impact from this sort of lurk role. He was a lot of the times coming in with really important multi-kills from behind. A lot of the time he was able to keep OpTic in rounds where they were down in 2v4s because his positions were so strong, and he kept his composure. He's a very experienced player, and he was able to get those flanks going a lot of the time.
Yeah, Cajun B, I think the key word there, like you said, is experience. He can play every role, it seems. He can be a great AWPer, he can frag like a star player, he can lurk, he can be a supportive element, he can do it all. And so adding him to a team, it should always just improve it, right?
Yeah, exactly. A lot of the time, it's almost like, well, if you add Cajun, he can just kind of fit the team, right? So it's almost always a good pickup for you because he can do so many roles. You're going to find some sort of role for him in the squad. In this team, he's working well as that lurker that we were talking about.
Yeah, there were some crazy plays. They did obviously lose 16-1 to Astralis on Dust 2 yesterday, but there were so many rounds where Cajun B was just so close to picking up round wins on his own. The 4K springs to mind where he nearly gets the 1v1 ace against Device on the B bomb site, and Device jumps over the wall and knifes him just enough time to defuse. So yeah, kind of unlucky, I have to say, for OpTic. I definitely felt sorry for them. I definitely feel like that first half against Astralis yesterday could have been a lot closer than the scoreline.
Yeah, it definitely felt like they could have got a few more rounds on the board. And we were also pointing out through the game how Astralis' money was always on the verge of being broken because there were so many close rounds. If OpTic won just 1 or 2 of those, then all of a sudden maybe you force your opponents down to a low buy. Maybe you get some more rounds on the board.
Well, OpTic will be hoping for a big performance from Cajun B yet again today, as they will be taking on FaZe Clan in our first matchup, our only matchup here on the B stream. We are going to go to a short break, but when we return, we'll have this game ready for you.
They've taken it like proper sportsmen at this stage. We're about to have the question answered of who really is the best of all time.
All 5 players are just great players.
They're both with their knives out. They're both not ready, and somehow Stewie stays alive. Stewie's not getting arrested. He gets by Apex.
We're here to only win. We don't care who we play. We don't care if it's simple, the best player in the world. We don't care if it's the worst player in the world.
Son intelligence de jeu, même quand il avait 6-7 ans, c'était assez incroyable.
Donc au début, on était meilleur que lui.
Je pense c'est à partir de ses 14 ou 15 ans qu'il a commencé à être meilleur.
Au début, quand il perdait, c'était un très mauvais perdant. Hein.
Oui, je me souviens très bien qu'il cassait beaucoup de souris.
Tell him we're flexible.
Don't worry. My Dutch is okay.
Just okay?
Mm-hmm. Deze man is erg super.
Tell him we need this merger.
En hij heeft een knuffel nodig.
Knuffel?
It's happening.
Just okay is not okay, especially when it comes to your network. AT&T is America's best wireless network according to America's biggest test. Now with 5G Evolution, the first step to 5G. More for your thing. That's our thing.
This is game fuel. It's domination in a can.
Aw, tastes like loser tears.
New Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel. Victory in a can.
So this is it. This is where it all started. The great business of DHL.
Do you remember when we still used these?
We have all come a long way since then.
Hey, Effie, my little buddy. I got a special job for you. And this is only the beginning.
I've been there since the beginning. Every map, every frag, every moment. I run, but I never hide. With knowledge comes power, and power is to be wielded wisely. Which is why, as the expert, I bet with Betway. If you know CSGO, then you'll know the best way to bet on esports is with Betway, for the love of the game.
To a terrible land. We are here to your mission. We are many of one. We're coming home with a mission to tear you down from your undeserved throne. We can take your conviction. We are many of one. You may call it a virus, but we call it the antidote. It's an answer to silence. The future is here to revolt. see the world. Aren't we all insistent to be smooth? It's so high from here. You can see the world. Aren't we all insistent to be small?
ESL 1 New York is brought to you in part by Intel, AT&T, Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel, DHL, Asus Republic of Gamers, Bedway, MSI, and Pay Safeguard.
Hello and welcome back to ESL 1 powered by Intel. It's New York and we have got a game coming up here on the B stream. It's not just a game, it's a barn burner. It's OpTic taking on FaZe Clan. My name is Dinko. I'm joined here by Hawker to break this one down, and this is going to be an excellent one. We've got FaZe, new roster, new coldzera, feeling coldy, and we've also got the likes of Brokey on the team. So a young gun, just straight from Latvia, hasn't really played in any of these big events yet, and he's got to take on the Danes and OpTic.
Yeah, and this is a game that I think most people are going to favor FaZe in, just because they've got the names, they've got the experienced players that we know can perform at this sort of tournament. But OpTic are a team that we saw play Astralis close on Vertigo. They're a team that have clearly put a lot of preparation into this event, so I don't think it's quite that clear cut.
Yeah, well, let's take a closer look at the players that may be playing on these rosters, because there's a lot of superstars on a FaZe Clan. OpTic, you know, they've got some new players themselves, the likes of Tessus on that roster as well, but MSL, I feel like he's probably the biggest name back on this roster. The in-game leader has obviously done a lot with the Danish teams back in the past, and, well, he has potential to set this team up for greatness.
Yeah, MSL was playing obviously as the AWPer yesterday. He was the player that was trying to take the opening fight most often for OpTic, and then Config was the other player also playing pretty aggressive. So MSL, I think, is providing a lot for this team. His fragging is pretty solid in this OpTic lineup from what we're seeing, and that aggression from MSL allows players like Cajun B to sit more in the backlines and have a lot of impact.
Well, FaZe Clan, they have superstars from all over the world. Not a single player is from the same country. So pretty crazy stuff. We've got Rain, the Norwegian Beast, definitely a consistent player. He's the longest standing player for this FaZe roster. And, well, he's just so good.
Yeah, he's really solid. In fact, yesterday, he was, again, I would say the player probably playing most aggressively for FaZe Clan, but he still put up pretty solid numbers. So I definitely want to see what role Rain kind of fits in this team now, because obviously coldzera is going to want to be pretty passive. It feels like Rain might have to take up some more of those entry roles.
That's the thing with coldzera, right? He has a very interesting playstyle. He's super passive. He always wants to make the right decision, get the information, and make the plays based on that. And while coldzera has the potential to light up the scoreboard, so does pretty much everyone else on that FaZe roster, right? We've got Rain, who's arguably the least individually skilled player, you would say, sometimes across the board, you know, taking a look at the superstar names. But Rain is just as good as pretty much everyone on this roster, which is super scary to think.
Yeah, I think that the real missing factor yesterday for FaZe had to be Nico, though.
Okay.
Nico was really poor in opening duels especially. He only won 10% of his opening fights he was taking. So a lot of the time, if you're losing that opening battle, you're leaving your team at the man disadvantage scenario. And I think a big part of that was the fact it came down to Vertigo. Nico clearly wasn't too ready for that map. So I think this one could be quite map dependent in terms of how we see FaZe play.
And we've seen a lot of the maps come through, the tactical maps for FaZe yesterday. And well, that's not really the sort of maps we'd be expecting from a team like FaZe Clan, because they've just made a new roster. They've got these superstars. You perhaps expect them to go towards puggy maps. The likes of Mirage is a map where if Nico's in-game leading, that can be a map where he can set his team up for success.
Yeah, that's the other point, is that Nico normally as an in-game leader we would expect would set himself up.
Yeah.
This is what we saw back in the Mouse Sports days. He would oftentimes be the superstar player for them. So if we're going to see him go back to the in-game leading, we want to see Nico again get back to superstar form, which has not been happening in the last 3 months.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy seeing a little bit of a drop-off in Nico's performance, because he has always been so consistent. And, well, we get more firepower added to this team. Perhaps that can help him get back to his former glory. And I think a very interesting talking point for this FaZe roster is Olaf Meister opping. Obviously, he's done this in the past. In his last, when he was in his prime in Fnatic, he would pick up that secondary op. Very proficient on the weapon. We just haven't seen it recently.
Yeah, so Olaf was doing most of the AWPing for FaZe yesterday, and then Cold Zero was also picking up occasionally. But it's definitely going to be something to keep an eye on, because if you're playing a map where you definitely need an AWPer, then Olaf is going to have to prove himself that he is worth that investment into the gun. And it's quite a risky playstyle if you don't have that solid primary AWPer. You need to be able to have someone that's very reliable. And I'm not sure that Olaf will be at that point yet. It depends how much practice he's really been able to get in on that.
Well, we are ready to get the maps in. And obviously, we've kind of discussed how this is going to be a very map-dependent game. We have the likes of MSL, a very tactical in-game leader. And, well, he's got rid of Inferno.
Yes, permaban for OpTic. That's what we would expect to see from them. It's not a great map for FaZe, but OpTic just clearly do not want to play Inferno.
Yeah, I'm more interested to see what ban FaZe go for. It is a Vertigo ban, and I feel like they had to do that.
Yes, so yesterday FaZe banned Train and left the Vertigo open. They don't seem to like Train too much, but they even said in interviews, I think, that they took a bit of a gamble leaving Vertigo in because they hadn't really done much practice on that map. And when you're a new roster on Vertigo, you can't really leave it in, especially seeing OpTic's performance on it yesterday. Just get that straight out.
Yeah, OpTic definitely showed their hand against Astralis and showed they're capable on this map. But well, OpTic going for the pick of Nuke. This is interesting because you always say Nuke's a very good map for OpTic, maybe even their best map, but FaZe picked it yesterday.
Yeah, I was thinking that maybe we could even see FaZe pick Nuke again if they really wanted to. So to see OpTic pick it, maybe a little bit of a surprise. I thought they might just go for Overpass instead because we don't know exactly what FaZe is going to look like on that map, but you know that they're going to be willing to pick Nuke. And then from FaZe's perspective, I was wondering if maybe they could pick Dust 2, which again was the map that OpTic struggled on yesterday.
Yeah, well, Dust 2 was a map that OpTic just looked pretty dire on. And Dust 2 is a map where a lot of duels are going to come in. And well, if you're FaZe Clan, you're going to be feeling confident in every duel you take. So this is a very, very good map for FaZe. They've shown proficiency on Nuke as well, so there is a chance here that FaZe might be able to 2-0 this.
The other thing about Dust 2, though, is that normally you want a very solid primary AWPer on that map. So can Olaf step up and out-AWP MSL on Dust 2? That will be a big question.
Yeah, well, Mirage coming in as a ban for OpTic. Well, that's something that FaZe Clan are pretty comfortable on. OpTic have shown that they like to play it in the past in a couple of their online tournaments, but obviously getting away another buggy map, we're going to go to perhaps a more tactical one here. That does leave Overpass in the pool. That's also a potential map we could go towards.
Yeah, and I don't think FaZe are really liking Train too much. From what we saw yesterday, they banned it first rotation, so it is Overpass as the decider. Nuke and Overpass, two very strong maps for OpTic, but like you were saying, Dust 2 for FaZe is one where you'd think that with so much skill on the roster, they'd have a good chance. So I think these are maps we want to see in this series. We want to see the Nuke that we know that both teams like to pick sometimes. Yeah. We want to see Dust 2. We want to see how the skill battle shows up. And then Overpass, again, a pretty good map for OpTic. We haven't seen as much of it from FaZe, but clearly they must be somewhat comfortable if they've left it in there. So I think these are some pretty good maps to see how these teams are going to play.
Yeah, I feel like this is a real test for FaZe Clan right now, because you would say on paper they are the favorites coming into this one. And yes, well, here is the head-to-head. Denmark Denmark is the country for OpTic. You can't really rattle it down to one country for FaZe. They're all from all over the world. Europe coming in here is the region where most of them are from. But world ranking, 9th for FaZe, 25th for OpTic. And well, FaZe, they have got an okay win right here, but it's definitely losing more than they win. So not great, but this is a brand new roster, so we always take stats with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, and the strong side for FaZe being that T side is kind of what we saw yesterday in their game against Evil Geniuses. They got off to a really good start on their T side, but they were playing quite simple, quite basic Counter-Strike. Yeah. It was mainly just sticking together with 5 players, pushing through into one position, and then just trading it out. So sometimes they would push ramp together, they'd get maybe even trades, and then they'd hit the B site. And it wasn't exactly the most methodical play maybe, but that's, I think, where this FaZe team are probably going to find success on their T side. Just keeping it quite basic, keeping it simple.
That's the crazy thing about Nuke, right? Traditionally, it would have been a very CT-sided map. We see a lot of the CT halves come in 12-3. We even see some 13-2 halves come in. But with the recent developments and sort of the changes that have come into this new version of Nuke, it's much more balanced. And we can actually see teams who have a strong T side actually pave the way on their T side and have the CT side be their backup, which is certainly strange to see if you're a CS fan for a very long time.
Yeah, it's definitely been a map that started to change much more recently. Over on the OpTic side, though, in terms of Nuke, we've seen them play it, again, quite often. But I think their last result on this map, for example, was a 16-6 loss against Big in an online game.
Yeah.
So you start to question, okay, well, OpTic are picking this map, but they've had a couple of shaky results on it. So I'm maybe a little bit worried.
I know that that's online, right? And everyone doesn't really value online matches as much as you probably shouldn't. But that's the thing. OpTic haven't been at LAN events, so that's all we have to go on is the online results. So they really do have a chance here to prove themselves as a solid team again. And perhaps try and set themselves up for more invites. I mean, they came through, the reason they're here is because they qualified through an online invitational. So it's not like they've been invited here. They had to qualify from online. But here we are, ready to get into it. It's going to be the first map, Nuke, as FaZe Clan are on the CT side and OpTic Gaming on the T side.
Yeah, this is where we see if OpTic have put a bit more preparation into their Nuke after some up and down results in their recent games online. FaZe Clan we saw pick this map yesterday, so they are clearly somewhat prepared for this one, starting on their CT side. And you can see the odds there favoring FaZe Clan. I think this could end up being a close series, and MSL has already found the opening. The Glocks continue to move in. Kills just keep on coming.
Well, Nico, headshot coming in. Orthmeister's killed himself.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Nico and Brokey though stepping up with more. So we're back into a doable position here. OpTic looking to try and take themselves to victory on the pistol. But it is a 2v2 here. Nico going back in. He's found himself another kill. Making his way back in towards ramp to spot if there's any other players in this domain, but there isn't.
Ooh, drop down vent straight to the B bomb site. I think that's Cajun B, the man going in first, with MSL assisting him. Yeah, that is Cajun.
You better hope it's not G2 with a bomb on the B bomb site. MSL, he's going to be close in towards ramp. 2 players coming back in. Brokey's low, so 1 bullet would be enough for MSL to drop him. So you need to be careful here, FaZe Clan starting to make their way in. MSL has the angle. There's Brokey. 1 bullet isn't enough. He survives on 2 HP, so it's all on Cajun B. A 1v2 in the clutch. The bomb is ticking. Brokey throws the smoke on towards the bomb. The tap comes in, but Cajun can't spot him. He knows exactly where he is, but the box protects his head, and Nico will finish him off. FaZe Clan 1-0 as they will pick up the pistol.
Yeah, and it's nice that Nico gets 3 kills in on that pistol round. We see him show up early. I was saying, I think that Nico might have been the missing factor for FaZe yesterday. He didn't really show up as we know he can. Nico as the in-game leader, certainly looking a little bit better here to start the day. We're also going to have to make sure that we are clear with which Nico we're talking about, Dinko.
That is very true. You've got Nico here on the FaZe Clan side. He's got a capital N. OpTic Nico, obviously, very different. Has a very different playstyle as well. They may have the same name, but that's pretty much all they have.
Yes. Well, the Force Spy comes in from OpTic. 2 rifles to show for it in terms of premium rifles. They've also got a Galil in the mix, but Nico just taps off that head. Oh, gets the follow-up spray as well.
Yeah, it's really important that Nico gets a good start into this. You know, you have talked about how his stats haven't really been great across his last few tournaments. And well, Nico has to show up in a big way. He is one of the leading stars of this FaZe Clan side. coldzera. Very excited, actually, to get to cast one of Cold's first sort of FaZe games. Olafmeister will give it a test this, and we're into a 2v5. OpTic with a force buy not really working at the minute. Cold and Rain, they will find the last 2 kills, and it's 2-0 as FaZe Clan storm into the lead. It's not going to be a buy here from OpTic due to the force in the last one, so should be a 3-0 start here for FaZe Clan.
Yeah, it seemed like OpTic's plan there was maybe just to try and get some picks outside with their rifles. They had the AK, they had the SG, so they had the opportunity to land some long-range shots, but FaZe just kind of picked them apart on the outside hold. Again, Nico getting the first 2 kills was an important part of that. Molotov down from Rain. Against mostly Glocks in this one, so the SMGs can definitely do the damage, and Rain has done just that. 2 kills to his name. Nico's dropped down the vents trying to get the bomb plant, or just trying to get some kills. coldzera gives him the Galil, and Nico might think about trying to move towards B.
Well, Nico, smoke is going to go out. It's going to be the underhanded one, but Brokey had found his head. Now it'll be 3-0 as FaZe Clan to pick up the first 3 easily enough. But here comes their first hurdle, their first challenge, as OpTic are going to have the buy. It's going to be the Krieg in the hands of Nico, the rest on AK-47s, and utility is everywhere. So OpTic, they haven't got the AWP, but they've got everything else.
And FaZe Clan don't have an AWP on their side either. Olaf is sticking with the Scout for the time being. Rain has also continued with the MP9, so a couple of slightly weaker weapons in there. And Rain is getting aggressive through outside, tries to go through the smoke. MSL is there to meet him. Elsewhere, config has been dealt with, so it's back to a 4v4, and Nico continues the outside aggression.
The play slows. Trade has come in. So we're back to an equilibrium of a 4v4. OpTic trying to put a little bit more pressure towards Squeaky here. They're going to be playing contact in towards the A-bomb side, but utility from FaZe coming in. That'll halt the approach. So they can just leave Nico in behind so he can get his utility ready. As OpTic definitely leaning in towards the A-bomb side, telegraphing they want to go here.
They have so many nades left on the OpTic side as well. They've used almost none of their utility early on. It is still a 4v4 in this one as Nico gets slightly blinded. coldzera's feet are spotted. MSL sprays him down. Nico in with another kill, and it's into a B play for them. MSL trying to get the trade, and he does just that. OpTic Gaming frag out to win the round.
Yeah, good stuff from OpTic. They slow the play right down. They don't make any mistakes and walk right into the waiting arms of FaZe Clan. FaZe obviously had so much utility saved up, so if they decided to go straight away for that hit through the contact push, they probably would have been bombarded, and a couple of the players were already low due to the utility damage at the start from FaZe, so pause is coming. So we'll be getting back into the action very shortly, but OpTic will be happy enough about winning that first gun round. Of course, this is their map pick, but it's a map that FaZe Clan can play.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't the most tactical round coming in from OpTic. It was mainly just kind of contact in towards the squeaky door, and then from there, once they got that first kill towards A, they could drop down the vents, they could get into all sorts of dangerous positions and manage to just trade out onto the B site. It really was just down to the fragging, and normally I would expect this OpTic team to be a bit more tactical, so it's kind of nice to see them win a round in a slightly different fashion.
Yeah, it is the first gun round of those, so you know, we haven't really had to go and dive deep into MSL's strat book. He has openly said he's practiced a lot. He's been preparing for his upcoming tournaments. So we'll see what he's got up his sleeve. Nuke has always been a good one for OpTic. They've always had the foundations there. So they obviously can build on that. And on the T side, that's where we want to see most of the tactics come through.
Yeah, I assume we'll definitely see some rounds where OpTic go for those outside smokes. very, very standard on this map. I'm sure that OpTic will have those nailed down as well with how much they play this map of Nuke. Definitely a map they like to play.
It's always a map that you talk about Danes being very solid on, right? It's always a map where you say the likes of OpTic, Astralis, North have all been good on this map. And for a very good reason. It's always played in the region. The younger teams, there seems to be a lot of them in Denmark. You know, Copenhagen Games, we'll see a lot of Nuke come through. And I feel like if you're playing it in the region, coming up as a player and learning how to play at a professional level, you're just going to be good on the map. So it's always scary going up against Danish teams on Nuke, but we are ready to get back into it. We just had a small technical difficulty, but we are ready to go again.
Yeah, ready to get into the first full gun round, and it is Olofmeister on that AWP. We were saying that he was picking up the AWP most often for FaZe yesterday. He stuck with it here, but there's a player down the vents already, and Olof doesn't seem aware of that fact.
Well, not at all. He goes back over towards Secret Stairs, and KGB is just sprinting through the bomb site. So he's having a good time right now. Olofmeister is going to be further down towards the stairs. Nico will pick off MSL. Olofmeister goes for the pick. And he drops Testis. Not a good start here for OpTic whatsoever.
And now Olof looks back towards the vents, perhaps having realized that Cajun is down on that B bomb site. Flash goes through. Olof blinded by that one. A minute left to try and get this round win, and Nico gets 1 kill back for his team. Olof is still stuck in this position from both sides.
This is being stuck in between a rock and a hard place. He pulls his knife, goes for the peak, spots that KGB's there. He goes for that kill, spins round, might find both, and that's it from Olofmeister. That's exactly the skill that he has at his disposal. And it's all on Nico on his own, 20 HP. Having to find 4 players. Olofmeister, if he pre-fires, might be able to drop him. He's going to go into the open. There's the headshot. And Rin, he will pick up the trade. So 4-1. FaZe Clan, they will be back on the board with another win, as OpTic were able to pick up the first gun round. But after that, again, falling a little bit flat. But yeah, I've got money in the bank.
Yeah, good round from Olof with the AWP.
Yeah, excellent round, right?
Yeah, we were saying that maybe he wouldn't have had as much practice as he would like on the AWP, perhaps, but if he can continue to make plays like that, FaZe look good for their money on Nuke. OpTic have got the buy into round number 6, full rifles, although Tesses is stuck on the Galil. Speaking of Tesses, he had a really good start to the series against Astralis, especially on Vertigo. Not been the case in the start of this map, though. He's currently still got 0 kills. And both these teams do have, again, very inexperienced players. Tesses on OpTic hasn't played too much at the top level. Brocky on FaZe Clan hasn't played too much at the top level. So that's another little storyline that we could keep track of. See which one of those gets the best of the sort of rookies.
Tessis actually performed pretty well yesterday against Astralis, so obviously a very good sign for him. A lot of people were saying that Tessis was only picked up because of perhaps the problems with the organization of OpTic, may have to, obviously having to drop the team at a certain point. So they thought maybe picking up Tessis was just sort of a temporary thing. But obviously they've proven that wrong by dropping Refresh and picking up KGB. So obviously Tessis has impressed MSL enough to stay in the roster. And I think he's a player with quite a bit of potential. Good flash. Olofmeister off the angle. Follow-up coming in as well. 3 flashbangs. He's only blinded by 1. He hides in behind the box, and this could get risky. He peeks into the open. He does drop Tessis, looking for the follow-up, and he will end up getting 1 on towards Tessis. Finished off, though. And there's a 3v3 with 22 seconds left. Here comes the push on in. It's Config taking the headshot on towards Nico, and the man advantage is on the OpTic game inside.
Yeah, Olof really risking sticking around there at ramp. As soon as he goes down, you know the B-bomb site is vulnerable. It is coldzera and Rain in on this retake attempt, and Config forced away by the flashbang. Nice kill from coldzera, brings it to a 2v2.
Yeah, good kill coming in on towards Nico. Rain is the last remaining player here on FaZe, though. 1 tap comes in from Config, and this is going to be difficult. He has to peek into 2 players, 2 different angles, and well, there it is. Rain, he will end up falling by KGB's hands, and there we go. 4-2, OpTic on the board with another round.
Yeah, again, Tesses struggling to have impact, but OpTic are winning the rounds. KGB this time closes it out for them. Expect to see him the last alive for OpTic fairly often. We also saw some impact from Config in that round, which was important to see. And now FaZe are going to have to take a low buy. Not too much money for them into this one. coldzera, the only man to invest anything into round number 7. And this is a chance for OpTic to potentially build up some money on their T side. After losing some of the earlier rounds, the economy has never really been established for OpTic Gaming. But into this round, they will be looking to make sure they survive with as many of these rifles as possible.
Flash comes over the top. MSL is just going to be taking some of this free space to work with. Molotov in towards Secret Stairs. Flash buying over the top. Nico hiding behind Credit Card. Has plenty of teammates to try and help him get a few kills here. 2 coming from FaZe. Tess is able to pick up 2 in reply on the UMP, but this is good damage from FaZe. They might even find more as Tessis looking to fall here. Is doing a good job handling them, but coldzera 1v3 peeks into the open, gives away his position. Going to get headshotted by Cajun B, but he's still standing, looking for a kill on towards Tessis. But yeah, an ace from Tessis. Well played from him. All 5 kills. He handles the eco well.
Tessis' first 5 kills of this game all come in the same round. He hadn't got a single kill on the board before that one, so that's a nice way to get yourself up there on the scoreboard. Here comes the gun round from FaZe Clan, although we've got a couple of SMGs in the mix. Nico and Rain decide to go for the UMP and the MP9. I was maybe wondering if we were going to see an auto shotgun come out for one of those 2 players who are struggling with the money. We've also got Olaf on the AWP.
Well, seems like we are having a little bit of a technical problem, so we are just going to get wait to get back into the server, of course. But so far, I feel like OpTic, oh, there we go. OpTic obviously looked pretty solid straight away. You know, after their initial loss there, they win the first gun round, they lose the follow-up, but it's very important that they win it back. I'm not quite sure if this is live. I think so. So Rain it is live. So Rain is in towards mid. And he will be waiting for the players coming in towards his crosshair. Smoke comes in towards the hut. Flashbangs, Molotovs, the Elko, and MSL will sprint in towards it. Rain able to pick up MSL. Tessis finds the follow-up back through. And it's the man advantage on the CT side. Just under a minute left. FaZe stand tall. But can they stand until the end here? As OpTic are on towards the B bomb site. Brokey, his time to shine. Going to be tested, but the Molotov will force him back. Lets the bomb plant come through. And while FaZe are going to play for the retake.
Again, it's MSL going in first for his team, allowing the trade to come through. And Brocky can't stop the bomb from being planted, but Nico has got another kill through. That means Config and Nico have got a really tough task on their hands.
Oh, Nico spotted Nico, though. And this is going to be very interesting. He's killed himself pretty much. He will drop him in the end. Config picking up 2 kills, lights up 3. And that is excellent from Config, as OpTic will get another on the board.
Always fun to see some Nico on Nico action, but Config just unloads with the AK. Massive spray down onto all 3 players coming his direction. And I think FaZe have realized that that round is probably one that they should have been winning in on that retake. Up in a 4 versus 2. They assumed that they could just overrun Config there. They realized that they know where the other player is, so as long as they trade on towards him, they'd be in good shape. But credit to Config for just spraying away and finding all those frags.
You got to feel, though, FaZe have to have thought that one was in the bag, right? They definitely looked confident enough. They had the man advantage. Things were looking good. Brokey makes the right play not to just sprint into the bomb site and give away their advantage. It's just there was 2 players locked up on top of the bomb site. For the 1 player on the T side up towards the upper bomb site, and that kind of kept the 2 CTs players from FaZe up there for a long time. They couldn't rotate back in towards the lower site, and unfortunately, FaZe cannot get the retake successful. So here it is, 4-4, we're back into the action. FaZe Clan obviously feeling like they need that tactical pause because it's certainly not going too well for them as OpTic are picking up the pace. They run right in towards the bomb site. Tessis with 2 kills. He will get a 3rd kill. It's actually Cajun B who picks that one up. coldzera steps in with a P250 and Config straight away dropping coldzera. It's all on Nico. Just like that, Alex. It's over.
Yeah, pretty much. Nico with a D can be dangerous, but the round win is not really on the cards. Just about trying to get some kills here. Maybe somewhat of a risk for OpTic to go for such a fast play against the low buy, but the trades were solid. They get the entries that they needed to. And Nico, oh, nice shot. Might be able to get this gun. There's another Nico on the other side waiting for him, though. Shot landed. Nico does go down. Great shot with the dig. And now that AWP is absolutely able to be saved.
Yeah, that's well played from Nico. In a situation that was looking dire, he walks away with a chance to hang on towards the AWP. And, well, he's done that. Coming away with 2 kills and an AWP. That changes the tides here for FaZe. That saves so much money. And they've got a good buy coming in here thanks to the loss bonus and obviously saving. So OpTic, yes, in the lead, but here comes a very difficult task for them. They don't have an AWP to challenge it.
Yeah, MSL could have afforded the AWP if he really wanted to, but I think he's decided to just stick with the rifle just because he wants to make sure the money is somewhat reasonable for the entirety of the Danish squad. So like you said, Olof is the only AWPer on the server right now. Agent B nading out the door. They go for a bit of a boost to hold this one off, but elsewhere, MSL is the first to fall in round number 10.
Good start from Nico. Able to drop MSL. Olafmeister holding off the ramp room with the AWP. He'll just sit back. Passively waiting at this point. OpTic need to consider all of their options. At least MSL is the one dead, so he can sit back and sort of see every POV and come up with a master plan. Occasion B. He's just going to be waiting outside of the hut. Still a minute left to play with. Still plenty of time for OpTic to make their play, Alex.
Yeah, again, it's MSL being the aggressive player for OpTic at the start of the round. Outside smokes are down, but no one pushing off the back of them for OpTic.
Nico is in towards the lower bomb site as well already. Config is going to be making his way close towards the squeaky door, finds the head of Rain. Coltera swings under the open and gets 2 kills for his troubles. Config will get the trade back in, so it's still only a 1-man deficit for OpTic. It's still doable here. The flash comes in as Olafmeister in towards the ramp room, but here comes the dive, and they're just not expecting Nico to be there, and he gets both. Nico with the correct rotation is able to deal with the remaining players. So it's 5-5, FaZe Clan back on the board again. And while this is certainly shaping up to be a very close affair.
Yeah, Nico having a really great game so far at the start of Nuke on the CT side. He started strong with a pistol. He's continued his fine form into the gun rounds. And this is exactly what we needed to see. After he had 3 kills yesterday on Vertigo, this is a much, much better performance from Nico, who we know can be a superstar level player. This time, though, OpTic's outside smokes are going to be successful, and they are going to push off the back of them. MSL leading the charge down secret. The rest of his team will join him.
The smoke allows the rest of the OpTic players to gather just in front of it, and they can explode on towards the stairs if they desire, but they are just going to be sitting, waiting for it to fade. Rain is at the bottom of the stairs, also has a crossfire with Brokey on the other stairs, so Molotov is going to force Rain back in towards the bomb side, but they've got another player to deal with here. It is Brokey on the stairs. He'll peek over the top, spots a couple of players coming in towards him, so decides to fall back. And OpTic, well, they're going to be making their approach in towards the lower bomb site. Very evident at this point. They actually got back up towards the A site. It's going to be Nico dropping Teslas. Config steps in with a headshot, and it's going to be a man advantage for OpTic and a bomb plant. So the quick rotation back up towards the A site catches FaZe off guard.
Yeah, it looked so likely that OpTic were going to move towards B, but like you said, instantly up to the A site. FaZe couldn't keep track of it. They couldn't get the information quickly enough, and that means they have to save. Really nice round from OpTic there. Really explosive push onto the A site.
Yeah.
You saw that FaZe had 2 players committed to the B site already. I think it was Brokey rotating over from ramp, which meant that Olof's AWP had to rotate himself into ramp to cover Brokey's position because Brokey decided to go to the B site, realizing that OpTic were already down secret. So then going back up to A, while it is a bit risky, definitely works out for them. I think just because they were so quick in doing so.
Well, FaZe with another tactical timeout coming through. Both teams have been going back and forth. And while that never really favors the CT economy, you're always going to be fighting on the back foot. It's just more expensive to be a CT player. You have to get the kits, the incineraries are more expensive. The weapon's slightly more expensive. It's just not a good time to be a CT. And well, if you're losing rounds after winning one, that economy can never grow. So they have got a buy coming in here, but they need to be careful. Obviously, if they lose this one, they're going to be in a very sticky situation.
Yeah, thankfully they saved some guns. So in this round at least, FaZe stick with a strong economy. But OpTic are starting to come out to a lead here. We were saying, though, earlier that FaZe's strongest side was actually their T side of Nuke from the stats we saw. So maybe it's not as concerning as it could have been, but we'll wait and see if that comes through because OpTic are getting aggressive.
This is fast. Straight away, KZB dropping Rain and the rest of the push coming in from OpTic. Coldzera peeks into the open, but only manages one kill. It's Config with a multi-kill. Nico able to pick up Brokey, and that is it. Job done. Olofmeister has to fall away. And I love that call from OpTic. Straight in towards the A site. They know exactly where Olofmeister is here as well, and he's gone. 7-5 OpTic. Well, if you're FaZe Clan, you've got Whiplash.
Yeah, and Config is starting to land some shots. Triple kill in that round. Some really quick headshots come in from him. Once OpTic get the initial frag on that push, they're in such great shape there because Coldzera is completely isolated on the site. And again, it's just the pace of the push from OpTic, which allows them to isolate some of these FaZe players. There's no time for these rotations because OpTic are so explosive on their pushes to the site. It's really nice to see such quick aggression from OpTic, and it also shows a real commitment to the game plan there. Everyone knows they're just going in quick. That's clearly the call, and everyone commits to it, and it pays off so well for them.
Yeah, KZB, so important getting that opening kill, and obviously the smoke bloom, so there's no trip potential either. And well, Nico gets the opening pick on towards Nico. Man advantage for OpTic.
Make that a two-man advantage thanks to MSL. It is going to be Cajun holding back, waiting for the aggression. And it is going to be an OpTic round win, slowly but surely getting all the kills they need. Olof at least comes in with a single frag for FaZe, but OpTic starting to come out to a decent lead from this T side. 3 rounds in their favor now. And again, FaZe are back to the full buy, but are they going to be ready for quick aggression this time around? Because I think OpTic are probably going for these fast plays, knowing that FaZe haven't had as much practice, maybe knowing that the communication and the rotations won't quite be as quick.
That's definitely something you can exploit. And, well, FaZe, they have full utility here. They are ready for it. They might just catch them, but it's Olofmeister spotted towards outside. Flash comes in. MSL's blinded by it. Good flash from Nico. That'll keep his teammate alive, and Olofmeister can back off. So, man advantage for FaZe. The potential for a fast play is no longer there for OpTic, so they're going to have to slow into a more default approach and try and see what sort of map control they can get.
Again, MSL's aggression is unreal. He is so often the man trying to take the first fight. This time, though, it goes against him, and OpTic decide to group back up towards ramp for what could be another quick push.
Even while blinded through a smoker as well. It's crazy stuff from MSL. Well, Brokey is going to be put under pressure. He'll have to fall back in towards the ramp. And, well, he's looking for a little bit of action here. Hasn't really seen too many of it. A lot of it has just been falling back from him, but he will pick up the first kill. The second coming in as well. And he's done a great job at holding that B bomb site. Occasion B into a 1v5. You know, he is a good player, but this might just be a step above what he's capable of. And Brokey, well, he's got his triple kill. So great stuff from Brokey, showing that he can hold the B bomb site.
Yeah, very solid work from Brokey, realizing he can fall back from ramp, he can play from the B site. That's exactly what you need to do. And then Olaf also chimes in with the AWP. So FaZe getting another round on the board, heading into the last round of the half. MSL is going to have the sniper in his hands. We haven't really seen the MSL versus Olofmeister AWP battle. I'd be really interested to see which way that one would go, but MSL lands the first shot.
Yeah, that is crazy. He opens the door himself, and he does everything himself. He gets the opening kill. Good stuff. Fast play again in towards the A bomb site. It has been the weakness here for FaZe, and it's fallen again. Brokey on his own inside of the B bomb, inside of Heaven. He has rotated up from ramp, and he will be forced away by the Molotov. OpTic Well, they're going to end the half 9-6. Brokey's going to have to attempt this, but winning it, it's going to be pretty much impossible.
Yeah, those positions from FaZe as well, kind of out in the open. They were kind of caught between trying to rotate between positions. And like you said, Brokey surely can't win this.
So he just keeps coming in and Cajun B gets rid of him. There it is, the 9-6 half as OpTic will move ahead, but we'll see if FaZe can bounce back moving into the second half.
I was dancing on my own when you spilled that ramen coke on my t-shirt. Yeah, your eyes made it difficult to get my baby. And the next thing I knew, we were so ready to give in, skin to skin on that baseline. Ooh, you give me that high pitch feel, baby. We shared a cigarette that hits first sight. The way you looked at me, couldn't say goodbye. And whatever you did, don't make it stop. 'Cause baby, you make me feel something. And the next thing I knew, we were so ready to give in, skin to skin on that baseline.
Hello and welcome back to ESL 1 New York. It is the final best of 3 here on the B stream, and we're in the second half of the first map. It's Nuke. It's OpTic's pick, and they are currently ahead by 3. But FaZe Clan, the T side was their more favored side. This is where they do their best work. We'll see if they can pull it back.
Yeah, they've clearly got something in mind for the pistol with a couple of sets of nades, and the answer is a quick A play.
Straight away, it is Config with the first kill, but Rain comes in with a follow-up, but great headshots coming in across the board from OpTic. Nico looking for his follow-up, and he's got that one. It's all onto FaZe Nico here, 1v3. He's picked up the USP. He's got a Molotov in his hands, and no Kevlar, so the in-punch is a huge factor here, and he's just been spotted. That makes things so difficult for him. He has to try and recover the bomb. He had a big performance in the first pistol in the first half, but he needs an even bigger one here with a clutch straight away. He'll make his way in towards the site. Config hiding back towards Garage. I feel like OpTic are just playing this one perfectly. They're not giving him anything.
Yeah, they know they've got the bomb on the site, so they don't need to take any risks. They can sit back and make sure that the trades are ready. Config taking damage very low. The molly might just do this.
Well, he gets away just in the nick of time, and that Molotov could have cleared the back of the bomb site. Nico, he's stuck in so many positions here. 3 different angles to check. As soon as he commits to one, the other will peek. So, Nico, this might just be the end for him. He's got 1 flashbang still available and still 35 seconds. But getting anything done here is going to be almost impossible. And if he manages even 1 kill here, that would be impressive.
Nico trying to fight the other Nico on the bomb site. But with 20 seconds left, he's got to go now. And there's a player up on the hut. There's a player in heaven. Great shot onto the first. Now he's got to find the second player, and he doesn't have a clue where Tesses is playing from. Good work from OpTic, just biding their time, realizing that Nico has got to come at them eventually, and they make sure to get the round.
Yeah, that's good from OpTic. They don't overcommit, they don't make a mistake. And because of that, obviously, they get the reward. It's 10-6, it's OpTic ahead in FaZe Clan. They will be looking to try and get back into this game, but it's not going to be in this round, I don't think. They haven't really got anything to work with whatsoever. I was actually listening to an interview yesterday that Sadikis did with Nico, and this is FaZe Nico we're talking about, and obviously he said this team haven't exactly got too much time to prepare for this tournament, obviously, so this one doesn't mean as much to them. They're not going to be too upset with the result here if they bomb out in the group stages. It's more towards ESL Pro League that they'll be looking for.
Well, we have to remember also that FaZe did get 9 rounds on their T side of Nuke yesterday against Evil Geniuses. That was with the pistol round win, though, and a really strong start.
It feels like they definitely could have... Oh, wow. MSL in behind, though. He's got multiple players ready for him. He's going to pick up 2 kills. Olafmeister turns around. He will get the kill on the Glock, but we can't really expect FaZe to do too much more than this. UMP in the hands of Olafmeister, Deagle and P250 and the remaining players here on FaZe. They can keep the economy modest on the CT side here. If they can get a couple more kills, that's a win in the eyes of FaZe.
Well, they'll try and push ramp, and Tesses is in a big off angle. First kill found with the M4. He's got assistance from Nico, and then Tesses cleans up the final kill. So it's only the 1 frag for FaZe, and it's only the UMP loss for OpTic, which isn't a massive problem. What could be a slight problem for OpTic into this round, though, is they only have 2 premium rifles in play. They only have those 2 M4s, whereas FaZe have got a ton of AKs, a ton of SGs. The weaponry maybe not as good for OpTic as they would like. And if OpTic were to lose this round, I'm not sure they could really buy into the next. So this is quite a key round early. FaZe could really do with picking this one up.
Well, MSL again aggressive on the CT side this time. He's just sitting in the smoke outside of the door. So he needs to be careful he doesn't get caught here by Olafmeister. He will have heard those drops in towards the vent, so he can call that to a teammate that there is a player towards the lower bomb site. But still no kill. Rain, he might just collect that though. Tessus gives him an opportunity, but falls away. Nico. Finally, we're going to fight, but it's the other Nico that wins it. So, FMAS coming in for the CT side, and OpTic, they've got the man advantage.
And here comes the push down towards ramp. Maybe not to the B site just yet, though, because there are 3 CTs here if this push were to come through. Tesses potentially the first point of contact, but I don't know if FaZe will expect so many players on this B site.
Flashes coming through. Tessus sits in the lower bomb site. They'll at least expecting a few players here. Rim will pick up MSL, but will they expect Tessus? They will not, but he only gets the 1 kill as Brokey's able to trade. So we're back into a 3v3. Config dealt with. Config needed to realistically step up there. Occasion B tries to help out, but it's all on Nico here for OpTic. He's got 1 kill as the tap comes through. He'll pick that up as well. And the 1v2 clutches in as Nico will bring 12 for OpTic. And you got to feel like FaZe had to have picked that one up.
Yeah, what a clutch from Nico. Not normally the biggest fragger on OpTic, but he's having a good game here today. And that means that FaZe are in real trouble at this point. 12-6 down, even if your T side can be good on Nuke. We were also seeing earlier that OpTic's favored side was obviously that CT side.
That's the thing, right? They hard counter each other, and it's to which team's better on this map. And, well, I think you've just got to go with OpTic being the better side here on Nuke. We've got to look forward to the second match for FaZe Clan, I'm afraid. But we'll see if they can pull it back here on Nuke. It's not done yet, of course. They still have a good chance of stepping into this. OpTic should be up to 13 here as Nico continues his good form. He will pick up Brokey. But FaZe Clan have got towards Secret, and they're just pushing forward. They've got the bomb in their hands, but Nico peeks into the open, rotated through, pulls his knife. So perhaps not the greatest decision. He'll be cut off after 1 kill in towards the vent, but at least he gets the info, so his teammates can rotate through. Tessus is here again. Olafmeister with an AK dealt with by MSL. And Coldzera is in towards the squeaky door, the single door. His teammate Nico far off with 25 HP. So Coldzera swings the door open wide, can't connect any shots, and it's all on Nico towards Secret, having to try and get something done.
Again, Nico, currently the best fragger for FaZe. I think he's the best fragger on the entire server. But at least he's got an AK into his hands. Not using it though. The Deeg continues to try to get the kills, but MSL lines it up with the AWP. OpTic up to a 13-6 lead. And this is basically a must-win round for FaZe. And now we've got the AWP of Coldzera.
Yeah, we have. And, well, this is something we haven't seen yet. We've seen the AWP in the hands of Olaf, but Cold picking it up here on the T side. And obviously, Coldzera is a player that's good enough to be a main AWPer of the team, I have to say. You know, it was always said that he could go to a team and be an AWPer. But obviously, when you have a player like Cold, you kind of want him to be on the AK, the rifles, you know, and also have the ability to pick up the AWP here and there. So definitely a solid hybrid player. We'll see if he can get anything done here on the T side. Olaf going on towards the SG. I know it's a little bit of a running joke with Nico and Nico, but they're both playing the best on the server right now. Nico with 17 kills over on the CT side, and Nico over on the T side is currently on 18 kills. So pretty close, having good games. We'll see if they both can keep it up.
Yeah, and I think that has to be part of why OpTic are winning so much. Having Nico for OpTic show up with such a big performance in terms of frags, he's not the player that's set up to get the kills.
He did have a quiet performance yesterday, and obviously he has got most of these kills in the last few rounds. Config has been pretty consistently strong across Nuke so far, and that was a player that wasn't really at the greatest level against Astralis yesterday, but was that a double smoke? The same position?
Yeah, might have been.
Yeah, well, Nico does pick up the headshot anyway. And we're into a man advantage on the T side. FaZe holding it, and they will slow the play after getting that advantage.
I guess if your smokes don't work out, you can just go for the pop flash and the headshot of Nico. MSL gets 1 kill back for OpTic Gaming. So again, his AWP finding some good damage on this CT side. FaZe taking their time. With a minute left on the clock, they can afford to do so. We were saying that in their game against Evil Geniuses, FaZe were oftentimes just sticking together, trying to push as a unit and make sure that they could trade out. Pretty simple strats on their T side, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of the same. And that looks quite likely here. A couple of players grouping up over towards ramp.
30 seconds left. Eventually, FaZe are going to have to go for something. Grouping up outside the ramp, like you said. They've got a flashbang still available to go around the corner, but Testis is going to throw his nade and just tuck straight in towards the B bomb site. It's going to be 1 HP on Nico, barely surviving. MSL catches Rain, and that's the bomb. 15 seconds. FaZe just have to keep going. They can't slow it all. And Testis looks to line them up. There's the first kill. Can't quite get the second, but Olaf continues to sprint. Still 1 HP on Nico. This is not going to be easy for FaZe at all. As Olaf swings the doors open. Molotov in towards the vent. It's MSL dropping Nico. All on Olaf. Headshot comes in, looking for the follow-ups. But it has to be a 1v3 here for Olaf Meister. There's the second. Does he know the second player's there? Does he know Config has come through the door? He knows it's a possibility, but the bomb is planted for him. Olaf playing this one so well. The door comes so close just at the right time as well. Olaf Meister, everything going his way at the minute. The tap comes in from Config. He pre-fires, but Config's too quick. It's going to be 14-6. Olaf Meister close to the clutch, but it's the Danes pushing forward.
And good effort from Olaf, but FaZe really took their time on that push in towards ramp. With just 20 seconds left, it was the push eventually coming into that position. Brocky still had the nade and the molly to try and slow them down. Oh, sorry, Tessis still had the nade and the molly to try and slow them down. Yeah. You almost feel like Tessis maybe could have even just ducked into a corner there because that was such low time.
He took the fight to try and stop them from coming through. He was very quick on the trigger, got the first kill. Could have foreseeably got that follow-up onto Olaf, but yeah, good chance there for FaZe. Olaf Meister, really good attempt, but couldn't quite get it done. He does get the opening here though, as Coldzera continues to push in towards the A bomb site. It's going to be MSL and Cajun B stepping up for the CT side, but it's not enough. Olaf continues to frag, and we're back into a great advantage for FaZe Clan.
There we go. Round over in a matter of seconds. FaZe finally pick up a round win on their T side in one of these gun rounds, mainly just due to the quick aggression in towards Yard. That allowed them to wrap into the A site, cause all sorts of problems, and OpTic just could not handle the A aggression.
They've just got to hope that this isn't too little too late, right? FaZe Clan, this is a chance for them to come back into it. If they want to win in regulation, it has to be perfect. They have to win the rest of the rounds available here.
Flash dropped by Olof. He's looking to go down the vents, gets down the vent quite quickly. OpTic should have heard that. They had quite a few players close by, but the weaponry is not great for the Danes into this round. Only pistols in play. You can already see MSL perhaps thinking about the future rounds, saving some extra money to get that AWP into the future. But right now it's the pistols stacked towards outside, and Nico might be about to take some fight if he goes forwards, which it doesn't look like he's going to just yet. The smoke might prompt him to push.
Well, OpTic could start. It's Config with the headshot on towards Nico, and his aim is something to be marveled at. Got a great skill set when it comes to the deagle. We've seen a lot of that coming through from Config. Got some of the best deaglers in the world on the server at the minute. Olof will drop MSL, so the kill's pulled back. FaZe, slow 4v4, good Molotov, and Testis has to try and fall away though. He does get the info that multiple players were pushing towards the B-bomb site, but Olof, you have to remember, he got into this position at the start of the round, and he can still cause problems for the OpTic side as he's further down towards the stairs. There's the headshot on towards Nico. Looking for the follow-up, he's got that as well. And Olof is stepping up for the FaZe side. Ooh, that's a 4K. He's looking for the ace, Alex, up against these pistols. He has a good chance to grab it as well as Tessa is starting to come in towards the stairs. Olofmeister has found all four. Looking for the ace, but 2 HP has to fall back, and Tessis might just get away with the AK here.
Yeah, it looks like Tessis is just going to back off with the rifle recovered. Smart play from Olof as well, though. Decided to go ahead and just wait for his teammate to get into position. He played that round really safe, just backing off in towards the window room.
Yeah.
Gets the 4K and gets the round win, but again, FaZe have got a lot more to do.
They do indeed. Testis actually saves Kevlar, a kit, and utility there, Alex. Just smoking a flash. So overall, not bad. He's got quite a bit saved on over. It's actually enough to maybe have impact across the board, but his teammates, they can't really buy around him.
Yeah, MSL's going to continue to save for the AWP. Just buying a P250 into this one. Again, it's Cold Zero AWPing on the T side for FaZe. And Rocky whiffs that spray down. Tesses getting aggressive with the AK, realizing he's got to take matters into his own hands in this round. The smoke down means that there is potential for a gun to be recovered. You can already see that Cajun B is looking to see if he can recover that rifle that was dropped early by Tesses. FaZe are not making it easy for that gun to be recovered, and Rain gets the spray through the smoke. Cajun thought he was getting a rifle. Instead, he gets some bullets to his chest, and he's not going to have any impact in the round.
Well, Tessis has to back away, and it's always unfortunate when you're the player that has to have the impact. And you just get dropped early and put out of the round. That is always frustrating. Cold Zero deals with Config. They knew that position was a possibility.
Yeah, Config just got completely destroyed there. Didn't get a chance to do anything. FaZe again playing pretty slow, but against the pistols, you can probably afford to do so. 34 seconds left. Tesses with the AK is currently up on the A side of the map, but he's just dropped down the vents. All of the OpTic players are now on this B bomb site trying to stop this push.
Well, MSL, he has the window, but Rain's got the headshot. Kill comes in. It's on Nico and Tessis. A 2v4. Bomb starting to get planted. Tessis able to open up the door, take one kill, but the bomb plant still comes in. Nico looking for the kills. Comes so close to dropping Rain, who's on 2 HP. And now it's all on Nico with the P250. They know exactly where he is, and Cold Zero swings to take the peak. A little bit brazen of him, but he does walk away alive, and Rain will take the kill. So 9-4 9-14, shall I say, is OpTic still in the lead by quite a substantial margin. So FaZe on a very long road, but They're taking it step by step.
I feel like Nico must have done like 98 in 7 or something there with the USP. Just spamming away at the chest. Doesn't get a single dink, which is really what he needed.
Yeah, it's definitely unfortunate. I mean, that happens to everyone every now and then, right? The easiest shots are sometimes the hardest to hit.
coldzera's AWP getting aggressive, but Config spams him straight through the vent. Great kill from Config. Again, he is showing up for OpTic right now. Was a bit quiet yesterday, but here today, Config showing that he can be a star player for this OpTic squad. And with the early man advantage, OpTic don't have to get aggressive, but MSL wants to extend the advantage.
Well, he's just getting a whole lot of info from this peak, right? He's checking towards the silo. There's no one up there. He's still in towards secret stairs, and well, Molotovs eventually come in and prevent him from falling back safely. So he's going to hold a bit of an off angle in behind the fence. Well, it is a man advantage for OpTic. We'll see if they can convert it into a round win, though. That would put them up to map point here on their map pick. If you are tuning in, this is indeed OpTic's map pick. And when they find a follow-up, MSL's aggression pays off. And it's a two-man advantage for the Danes.
KGB holding up from the hut, always a good angle, and Brocky unable to trade on towards him. Rain only good for 1 kill on the FaZe clan side. Solid work on the trades from OpTic Gaming. And they saved so heavily for that gun round, knowing that they were in great shape. But coldzera there at the start of the round had no clue what was hitting him. I can't believe Config got the double dink through the vent.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts, right? You know, you have the lineup well, but
yeah,
it's just, you have it to the point where you're getting those double headshots. That's just a little bit of luck also inclined into it. But it is 15-9. FaZe Clan used their last tactical timeout, and well, you can't blame them at this point. They still have a chance to pull it back, but it has to be perfect, and that's just to get overtime.
Yeah, very good team efforts from OpTic on the fragging, which is another nice thing to see for them. Config, the top fragger, with 19 kills. The bottom fragger, KGB, with 15.
Yeah, and he was actually a player that was playing lights out yesterday against Astralis, but obviously there's not much of a disparity between top and bottom here on OpTic, so you'd definitely rather have that.
Well, we've seen MSL's AWP be willing to play aggressive previously. I think this time he's playing a little safer at the start of the round. Config again playing in towards Mini. I wonder if FaZe might think about trying an A play again at some point, because one of their earlier gun round wins was thanks to that, but MSL's AWP does get aggressive from secret and gets the opening.
Yeah, Nico being picked off there. Again, MSL just loving that aggression, and it's been working. He hasn't been stopped. You know, Astralis countered him yesterday. When he was trying to get aggressive on the CT side, Astralis had utility ready for him. They were stopping that aggression. They really shut him down, but FaZe, obviously being a new team, can't really be too prepared, and well, they can't deal with it as well. Rain does get the trade back in. coldzera looking for the follow-up in towards the secret stairs, but MSL, that is so brazen. He peeked back into the open again. 2 attempts to take the shot, and he will collect the kill. Eventually, a little bit too aggressive as Rain will pick him off, but Tessis has the info and is able to deal with Rain. 2v2 as FaZe start to make their way in towards the A-bomb site.
Ooh, trade comes in, and Tessis decides to swing out from heaven. Olof spots him, but the damage is done. Olof is so low on health, and Tessis drops down, trying to take the fight. Only needs a single shot to close out the map. He's looking for this one. Tessis doesn't get it done. Great shot from Olof. He needed the headshot to keep FaZe alive, and he manages to do exactly that.
Yeah, the pressure that you must feel if you're all off there, just the 1v1, having to save the chances of FaZe Clan coming into this, and he gets the headshot. He lands the one bullet he needed to, and that will be another one on the board for FaZe. It's 15-10. They've reached double figures. They have to believe that it's possible to bring this all the way. This should be around in the bag for them. OpTic don't have a whole lot to work with whatsoever. It's 2 HE grenades, and that's it. That's all that's been invested into this round for them, and they're going aggressive in towards ramp.
Yeah, Olof absolutely hears that. Molotov down. Tessis isolated by the Molotov. There's actually some team damage in there from Nico. They've rotated down the vents, so maybe OpTic can catch some players out. Yeah, Brocky has no clue that there are players there, but with the USPs, it's never easy to get those frags, and not a single frag for OpTic. I feel like Nico has slowed down slightly on the FaZe side. He had a really great start. He was 14 for 5 at one point,
He
I
has
think.
slowed down, but the other thing there is that Olofmeister is sped up, right? He's had an incredible performance. He was actually the best performer at the Berlin Major. And if he can continue that, if Olof can have that steady improvement and he can get somewhere near his level that he was at before, that's incredible. Then you've got another star in your team.
Yeah. Speaking of Olof, he's not AWPing on this T side, but he is looking over towards the door. Looks to be lining up a smoke over for Mini, but again, it's MSL's AWP that's got the opening kill. Again, over towards outside.
As well. It's
Yeah.
Nico again. He just can't deal with it. He's being picked off by MSL time and time again. Config has to try and hold the bomb site here, and this might be it. It's looking good for OpTic. All the kills coming their way. It's all on the coldzera, the new addition, to try and step up with a big clutch. A 1v4 has to come through here. And it's not looking likely whatsoever. There it is. It's OpTic to take the win here on Nuke. Their map pick as well. We are going to go to a short break, but we'll be back to break this one down.
Seen anything like it. What the hell was that?
That is incredible! And an arc! A power surge right through two! Oh, himself! He raised it! He raised it!
At the highest level of play, there can be no compromises. Gamers demand the highest clock speeds to give them the FPS they need to perform. Rise to the moment. Intel Core i7, the official CPU of ESL 1. Game, record, stream without compromise.
Tell him we're flexible.
Don't worry. My Dutch is okay.
Just okay?
Mm-hmm. Deze man is erg super.
Tell him we need this merger.
En hij heeft een knuffel nodig.
Knuffel?
It's happening.
Just okay is not okay, especially when it comes to your network. AT&T is America's best wireless network according to America's biggest test. Now with 5G evolution, the first step to 5G. More for your thing. That's our thing.
This is game fuel. It's domination in a can.
Tastes like loser tears.
New Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel. Victory in a can.
My name is Jordan Gilbert, aka Nothing.
Hi, my name is Sue Lee. My handle is Smix. I think it's important for these initiatives to happen. Empathy really, really goes a long way, and it always means so much to us, and I think that's where initiatives like this really help.
I encourage everyone in the community, anytime they see bullying, anytime they see someone getting called names, I encourage you to step up and say something.
Good luck, have fun.
Good luck, have fun.
ESL One New York is brought to you in part by Intel, AT&T, Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel, DHL, Asus Republic of Gamers, Bedway, MSI, and Pay Safeguard.
If FaZe Clan are to replicate their previous success in the Big Apple, well, they're going to have to step up here in the final two maps. Dust 2 is coming up here at ESL One New York. B-Stream is, of course, powered by Intel. My name is Dinko. I'm joined here by Hawker to break down that first map. It was Nuke. It was a risky pick from OpTic at times, but they've obviously prepared on it. They're looking better than FaZe, and they get it done.
Yeah, I think overall there from FaZe, their CT side at points looked quite lackluster, especially on that A site. There were some rounds where FaZe were just getting completely overrun. Their setup did not seem like it was established in time. And I think as the half went on, OpTic realized that the fast aggression was working because FaZe maybe didn't have their setups so well in place. So they just continued to go quick.
FaZe Clan did have some positives though. Nico seems to be playing pretty well. He did slow down in the second half, but that just allowed for Olofmeister to step up. Brokey had some great holds in towards the B-bomb site. It definitely wasn't all negative here for FaZe Clan, but I want to touch more on towards OpTic. They're a team that haven't been at these events, haven't been on these stages, and they're performing very well. They played well against Astralis, and here against FaZe Clan, they looked comfortable.
Again, seeing MSL play so aggressive, I'm really enjoying. I feel like he, a lot of the times, either gets the opening kill or at least sets up his teammates pretty well. Another point, though, that we were bringing up was the amount of times that it felt like MSL was getting a fairly easy AWP pick on the start of that CT side.
Yeah, he was almost getting that pretty much every time against Nico, right? It was just peeking up secret stairs. Nico could not deal with it whatsoever. And that was definitely strange to see. But MSL, I like the decision behind it. It's just, well, if you can't stop me, I'm just going to keep doing it. And he just punished Nico time and time again. And that's great for an opening pick on OpTic's side. And, well, FaZe Clan, they need to get it done on their T side. And here are a little closer look at the stats. Olofmeister does finish on top. Nico, like you said, did slow down coming into the second half, 21 and 19. But around OpTic, I feel like it's a very positive sign that there's not much of a disparity between top and bottom. They're playing like a team, and they're playing solid.
Yeah, if you look at the just the kills and deaths for the players there, you would maybe expect it to have been a very, very close game because everyone was about even. But they win 16-11. It felt fairly comfortable overall for them. Whereas for FaZe Clan, this time, one of their other star players didn't show up in coldzera. He did not have a good game here. And that's maybe the worry with FaZe is that even though you have all these star players, you can't have them all show up at the same time, surely.
Well, we might actually get that answer for you because we're moving on to Dust 2. And obviously Dust 2 is a map where a lot of individuals can shine. OpTic looked rough against Astralis on this map, to say the least. There was times when they were playing against Device, and all 5 of them were running down middle, not flashing, not smoking. It was a full buy, and they all peeked into Device's op. So there is definitely problems here on Dust 2 for OpTic, and that's something that individuals from FaZe Clan could maybe exploit.
Yeah, this isn't a map that we've seen much of from FaZe Clan, but I think realizing OpTic's struggles on this map yesterday, that's got to be part of the reason why they've picked this. Again, we were saying OpTic took quite a lot of those rounds close, but at the end of the day, that doesn't mean anything. You need to get the round wins, and they just could not close out any of those rounds.
And the scary thing is, right, it's not because Astralis were tactically dominating them. It was a lot based on individuals, and that's something that you say OpTic generally do have. So definitely a scary sign moving forward if they haven't recovered in any of those Dust 2 errors. I feel like the errors that they had are pretty obvious and pretty easy to fix, right? I think instantly they would have realized how to have done the mid-push better when they walk into Device. So I think we're going to see a slightly better OpTic here on Dust 2. I feel like going up against FaZe Clan is not going to be the same beast as Astralis, especially with the caveat that this is a new roster.
Yeah, and over on the FaZe side of things, you have to also look at the AWPers, I think. And Olof was looking quite comfortable on that AWP. He had some really big rounds.
Yeah.
He had a couple of rounds where he got multi-kills with the AWP. So I'm actually not as worried as I was in terms of the AWPing on FaZe's side. We also saw coldzera pick it up on the T side a couple of times and get 1 or 2 entries. So overall, I don't think the AWPing will be as big a problem for FaZe as I maybe expected when Guardian left the team.
Even though MSL is not going up against a, you would say traditional AWPer, I feel like he should be AWPed by coldzera and Olofmeister still. MSL is a very proficient player on the weapon, but I feel like, again, some of this aggression might go punished on Dust 2 this time.
The thing I was impressed with MSL, though, on that first map was that he never really took the AWP versus AWP battles. He was a lot of the time just getting picks onto rifle players. So if MSL can continue to do that, if he can find long-range fights against riflers, then I think that's where he can have his impact.
Well, the most interesting stat here for me is that CT side for FaZe. 71.4% of their rounds are won on the CT side of Dust 2. This is pretty crazy, right? We're going to be looking at a very strong CT side here for FaZe. With this new roster, we've got to see some T rounds as well come through.
Yeah, they have only played it one time, though. Yeah, so I wonder if that's a factor in that. Maybe they just had a game where they barely got any T rounds.
So yeah, of course, that one time they played it is not going to be with this roster, right? It's going to be pretty strange when you have a new team. The whole system is going to change. So obviously, these stats, you can take them at face value, but you have to realize that they are going to be different in reality when we move into the server, because FaZe Clan obviously have got a brand new roster. They've got Brokey in the team. They've got Cold Zera just added. There's a lot of firepower there. So Dust 2 may actually become a pretty good map for them.
Yeah, and I think that this is a map that you would expect them to have at least practiced a little bit, especially if they're willing to pick it here. Especially knowing you're going against OpTic, you would expect they should have put some preparation in. They know that they can pick this one as perhaps a weakness for the OpTic side. But like you said, we should see a fairly free-flowing setup. I just hope that we do get to see the defaults from FaZe, where you have just a couple of nades to take short on the T side, because there are still some sort of standard protocols you need on your T side of Dust 2. You can't just go for all these crazy individual plays all the time.
Well, taking a look at Dust 2, and when we talk about these protocols, we usually see that catwalk take, right? We see a lot of catwalk takes coming through. That's generally the default stance. Then we see the executes, or we see B contact plays where they get close and sort of in front of that smoke. They have the pop flashes ready to push in contact in towards the B-bomb site. And depending on spawns, we'll see a lot of fast long takes. So it is a pretty simple map in comparison to a lot of the other tactical maps, such as Nuke. So this could be one where FaZe can perform pretty well with this new roster, and also could be one where they might be able to take it away. It is a pick of theirs, so they have to get this one, otherwise they're out. So it's all on the line.
Yeah, especially on that T side, most of the nades are fairly straightforward. There aren't too many nades you need. The only question is, when you go for those A plays, again, you have to make sure you've got those smokes. If you're pushing through A long, you need the smoke for CT to make sure you can cross there safely. If you're coming in from short, you probably need some smokes to cover as well, or at least some flashbangs, because a lot of the times we see AWPers sit towards that car position. That's a very strong angle to be holding the A site from. So we still need to see solid utility usage from FaZe, which is maybe a slight question mark in terms of the team play, in terms of the timings of those flashbangs and those smokes. But as long as they've put a good amount of preparation into this map, you'd think that it wouldn't be too hard to nail down that utility.
The player I'm looking forward to seeing on this map is Brokey, right? This is going to be his paradise. This is a map where you're going to see it a lot in FPL. This is a map where he's probably played a hell of a lot, and this is where his playstyle has developed and become great, right? So this is a map where he can shine, perhaps have a great performance against the likes of OpTic, who definitely looked rough on this one. We are just about ready to get into Dust 2, and I'm just looking forward to seeing what FaZe Clan have on this one. It is always a question mark with the new roster, you know, do they have anything? But hopefully they've got at least something here on Dust 2.
Yeah, we would expect them to, considering they picked this map. Going back to Brokey, when he was playing for Epsilon, that team loved to play quite a lot of Mirage, but they definitely had some Dust 2 in the mix. Like you were saying, quite a skilled roster back on Epsilon as well, so I would expect Brokey to be much more at home on this sort of map.
Well, that Epsilon roster always seems to just produce these players that go on to do great things, right? You have the likes of Blame F, who was in that team. He went on, obviously, to sign with Complexity now, but he was playing with Heroic as a great in-game leader and a star player, really, for that team. And you've got the likes of Brocky's now on FaZe Clan. You've had Smoothie. You've got a lot of great players that come from that Epsilon team. So it's pretty crazy how they just keep pumping them out, and from all different regions as well. But we are ready to go into it. It's going to be OpTic taking on FaZe Clan here on Dust 2. And this is one that FaZe Clan cannot lose. They have to step up. With a pistol win, that could be the great start they're looking for.
It's Nico buying the nades for FaZe Clan, along with Olofmeister. Back in the day, for FaZe, you would never expect Nico to be buying up the utility. You'd expect him to be the carry of the pistol, but Config, again, getting aggressive. His aim has looked excellent so far today, and he's given his team the early man advantage.
Well, a good start for OpTic Gaming coming into this one. And if Config can keep this level of performance up, that's exactly what OpTic will be looking for. Yesterday against Astralis, MSL only managed a measly 3 kills. So he'll certainly be looking to step up in a big way, but it's Config with 2 kills already, backing off in towards CT. Nico dives on them. Olofmeister will get 2 back in though, as MSL will hit the deck. And it's a 2v3, man advantage still on the OpTic Gaming side. As Config is looking for his 3rd. He will get an opportunity on towards Olofmeister just sitting there. He will take a little bit of damage, but it feels like FaZe are just locked in mid here. They can't get out of this. They could go back up towards the tunnels. That's the only avenue here.
They've used quite a few of their nades early on the CT position, so it's just the flashbangs left for Olof. Both these players are also without Kevlar for FaZe, which is something we might have to take into account. I'm surprised to see Config playing so close here, but maybe this is an unexpected position.
Well, Config does pick up all off. It's Nico coming back in with 1, so it's all onto Nico. 1v2, 20 seconds left. Goes back over towards short. There is a player off towards the long ramp, though, that Nico's going to have to deal with. He runs on towards the spot. 10 seconds, going for the bomb plant straight away. He taps his bits, tests this into the open grid. Headshot from Nico. 1v1 now up against Cajun B. He has just found a kit, so it's realistically possible here for Cajun into the 1v1 against Nico. A very scary player to be up against. As Nico looks towards short, Cajun B starts to make his way in towards the ramp. OpTic, they had this problem yesterday where they couldn't win the 1v1s. They have to get off to a good start as Cajun B making his way up towards the ramp. The bomb is planted off for long. That might be a bit of a mind game for him as Nico's just hidden behind Gandalf. The tap comes in, looking for the headshot, but it's Cajun B that finds it, and it's OpTic with the pistol on the board.
Well, Nico had a great pistol round to start off Nuke. Not quite good enough to win this one here on Dust 2, though. And something I was going to point out from that first map was the fact that OpTic actually won most of the clutches back on Nuke. They won 3 clutches, whereas FaZe only won 1. So I think that's another really good sign for OpTic, that they are staying composed in those big moments.
Well, this is something that has become a common factor throughout CS. Is these second round buys, they're so deadly with this current economy. If you get a bomb plant in the T side, look what you've got. You've got 2 Kriegs, an AK and a Scout, along with a Deagle in the hands of Cold Serras. A great start as Rim will take the head of Tessus.
Yeah, good early advantage for FaZe. The nade comes back at them, but FaZe Clan only taking a little bit of damage from that one. Again, rifles on the side of OpTic Gaming.
Yeah, well, they have everything that they could hope for, really, here. They've got rifles, utility, but they're going up against FaZe Clan's buy, and they have got a short smoke off towards Xbox. So Nico may not have won that last clutch, but getting this so close, getting those kills, dropping them to just 1 player, and also getting a bomb plant, gives FaZe a really solid chance at picking this one up. So they're going to start to group in towards long. All 5 players from FaZe Clan starting to make their way through here. Nico's going to be the front man with the Krieg. He will check the headshot angles, clearing his way through. They're getting closer and closer towards this A-bomb site. They want to get as close as possible before they explode around the corner. And Nico, he's on towards the bomb site. He's rotated off and looked towards short. This allows FaZe Clan to get so close. They can just spring on them as they're playing contact in towards long. There's no one in CT. They can just keep pushing forward. Nico's looking the wrong way. Finally, he moves off to the angle, and just in the nick of time as here comes the push from FaZe. All in towards A long. Nico dealt with by Brokey. All of Meister able to follow up, and it's all on Cajun P and Config. Not enough done here. They'll have to save the 2 M4s.
I feel like FaZe were a little bit fortunate in this round because they didn't have any smokes for the cross. They didn't have any smokes available to them. So the fact they can just walk up and go for contact is really impressive.
Well, at this point, FaZe will be very happy about finding success in that second round buy. This will be 1 apiece. There is a lot of sort of CS purists that just are not happy with the current state of this this economy. That they don't really feel like the second round buy should be so strong, and it is very strong. If you lose the pistol, and you're literally got a better buy, which is mental on the T side. The Krieg is just such a strong weapon, and with FaZe Clan finding that, well, they're onto the board. They can get a good start here on their T side. And obviously we've seen in the one time they played it, the CT side was stronger, so if they can post a few here on the T side, that can definitely help them.
Yeah, the 2 rifles in play for OpTic into round 3, carried over from the last one. Cajun getting aggressive into a lower tunnel. Config getting aggressive up top mid, but Nico spots him out. Opening kill in favor of FaZe Clan. I wonder if they're aware of Cajun B's position, though. Rain biding his time, spots the player, but doesn't get the kill.
Well, Rain able to pick up MSL. It's going to be a 5v3 here as Rain. He'll throw the Molotov in towards the lower tunnel. Cajun B just sitting behind the boxes. The utility comes in, but Bart's Rain. And Cajun B still gets 1 kill there. Nico will end up taking the trade back. So it's going to be the two-man advantage for FaZe. But Testis has gone for a push through long. Olofmeister just waiting for it. There's the angle, and there's the kill. It's all on Nico. Got a glassed eagle, if that's what we're going to call it. No Kevlar, no utility, nothing in the bank for Nico here other than the deagle. We'll see if he can pick anything up as coldzera crosses in towards his crosshair, and Nico's got that headshot, but decides to pull his knife and run it right into the waiting arms of Brokey. It's going to be 2-1 as FaZe Clan are going to take that lead.
Yeah, clearly a decent idea for OpTic to get aggressive with the push into lower tunnels with the rifles, but oh my God, my voice is dying, Dinko. This is where the cold has come back to cost me. I've been drinking so much water, and it's still not helping.
Well, it's always rough, but we are into this one. FaZe Clan leading the way. And finally, the shot has been connected through the door and towards Nico. FaZe Clan should be the victors of this one. They should realistically be the team that just topples the lead here. Starts to extend their lead, as this should not be around where OpTic stand much of a chance. As it will be Testis and MSL making their way in towards long. FaZe are going to have 3 players over towards a long position. 2 actually push through and 1 just sitting back covering off the short push. So really passive setup from FaZe. They're just hoping that OpTic walk into them with a stack or some sort of aggressive play. And Olofmeister biding his time takes the kill towards Cajun B with a headshot through the wall. And Nico stepping up as well. Just starting to walk in towards the B-bomb site. Finally dealt with by his counterpart. As the Krieg is picked up and he heads back in towards under window. It's going to be a 2v4. A minute left in the clock as coldzera starts to make his way through short. It's going to be easy here for FaZe. No problems really posted. Again, it's Nico with 1 kill, but as long as FaZe limit the casualties, their money can build to an exponential amount. So certainly looking very solid for the European side. Well, mostly European. They have also got a Brazilian.
Yeah, it's slightly weird with all the nationalities over on FaZe. And there we go, Nico closed out at the end of the round. FaZe up to a 3-1 lead. OpTic finally getting the AWP into the hands of MSL. They've also got the full rifles available to them. There's also the AWP of Olaf over on the FaZe side. So again, we'll see if those AWPs go against each other early, because Olaf has got the A-long spawn.
Well, Olofmeister starts to make his way forward. It's MSL who will get rid of him. Man advantage on the CT side, as OpTic have picked that one up. FaZe Clan with a deficit. We'll see how they can recover from that, if they've got enough in the locker to do so. Nico starts to check in towards short. There's no one in behind the wall. Flash up. Nico is further back. And he comes in towards Nico, and that's a bit of a problem. He's playing passive, just waiting for someone to peek around the corner, but the double nade from OpTic, that's going to drop Nico straight away to 23 HP. He's not going to be happy about that one. He will eventually throw the smoke out, though. MSL looking for his chance to shine. AWP on towards ramp, looking for the pick, but FaZe Clan are not committing to this just yet. They've thrown the smoke. No shot baited up from MSL just yet, though. But Nico will just sit back and bide the time. FaZe still with the deficit. OpTic have no real reason to get aggressive here, other than searching for info, but FaZe Clan group it up in towards long. They've had success at this position so far. We'll see if they can keep that up as they start to make their way through. As coldzera playing contact, he will get the kill on towards Testis, who was in a bit of a one and done. Bit of an off angle, but it's not enough as MSL peeks into the open. There's 2 kills, looking for a third, but he'll fall back to safety. He knows there's no reason to do this. That's the bomb on the floor, and 30 seconds left. Nico has to make the play, swinging in from short. coldzera spots the barrel of MSL. Headshot comes in, but it's not the kill. Eventually he'll drop in, but Cold, he's in a 1v3. 11 HP left on him as well. This is not going to be easy for him. Smoke goes down for the cross. He's got a Molotov, a smoke, and a nade, but it's not going to happen. It will be config. And we'll take the headshot, and there it is. 3-2 as FaZe Clan, well, they'll give up another one.
Yeah, nice bit of work from MSL at the start of the round over towards long, and then the rest of OpTic are able to lock down the site. Important that OpTic got that early gun round on the board, but now MSL doesn't have the AWP in his hands for this next round. FaZe Clan again switching up their AWP. coldzera picking up this time on the T side, trying to get the pick towards B. OpTic not giving that opportunity just yet, but FaZe are going through.
Yeah, FaZe are sprinting straight in towards the B bomb site, and KJB's dealt with it. That's the bomb rolling as well. KJB's got 2 kills, and he's done so much for OpTic here. It's Brocky and coldzera in a 2v4. And the bomb lies in the other end of the smoke. Resmoke comes in, and that's perfect from OpTic. That pretty much secures the round win, I have to say. Unless Brocky and coldzera pull off an incredible 2v4 here. And OpTic should be equalizing the scoreline. And OpTic have already doubled the score they got previously yesterday against Astralis. So any more than this, they're doing good. It's improvements.
Yeah, slowly but surely getting better and better on their Dust 2. Again, FaZe Clan looking to see if there's a way back into the round for them. coldzera's AWP might have to look for a pick or two over towards the B site. Nice kill from Config, and coldzera switches it out for the Krieg, but KJB ends the round with a quad kill. Solid hold from him over on the B site. OpTic equalizing the scoreline. And this round from FaZe, just a ton of early aggression, but once KJB stops them in the tunnels, really feels like the chances for FaZe drop significantly at that point. coldzera gets the Krieg into round number 7, but the rest of the team don't have much to work with on the FaZe Clan side of things, so you'd assume they would be setting up coldzera in this round.
Well, FaZe Clan starting to put players in towards short. Config rattling shots through the smoke. And FaZe Clan starting to put more aggression up towards the short position. Putting players through. They have got flashes. Utility still available as MSL will pick up Nico. First kill is in. And will be a Nico kill coming on towards Brocky. Spraying away. Nico looking for more action, but it's MSL off towards long. Rain will drop Nico. MSL looking for a little bit more here. It's going to be the man advantage on the CT side. Is Config stepping up? They'll be looking for the headshots, but they're just not coming his way. coldzera will get rid of him, and it's going to be a 3v3. A minute and 3 seconds left as MSL looking down the barrel, looking for the headshot, and he's connected on towards Cold. It's falling apart here for FaZe Clan as they start to make their way in. MSL having a field day. It's a shooting gallery for him. Wolfmeister will get 1 kill back onto Tessus, and this isn't impossible. He has got the Krieg, rattled a couple of strange shots off there, and the timing's not great here on KJB. He looks away at the wrong time, and KJ will pick it up. It's going to be 4-3 here.
Yeah, maybe a little too easy for MSL there. Again, the nades not really coming his way on these early fights. This is where you want the flashbangs to make it difficult for him, but still great shots from MSL on a tight angle. Gets the headshot onto the second man. And we see a pause come through ahead of this round. MSL and Olof, again, both having AWPs on their respective sides, but I think MSL has probably had the most impact out of the AWPers so far.
Yeah, because he's had it the most, right, as well. That's definitely helpful. He's sitting on that CT side. That's where, you know, he can play in behind the smokes, play off towards long, rotate into great positions to deal with the aggressive players in FaZe Clan. And well, he's had a lot of success. He's been finding these kills left, right, and center. And that's completely different to what we've seen from MSL yesterday against Astralis. He just got destroyed. He got 3 kills overall. He really didn't get to show us what he's made of on the CT side, though, to be fair to him. So we'll move into this one. It's going to be round number 8. OpTic in the lead here on Dust 2. And this is FaZe's map pick. If you are just tuning in, it's currently 1 map in the lead here for OpTic. And this is an elimination game. KJB gets tagged through the wall. Olaf able to pick that up as Brokey starts to make his way forward. And will do some damage on towards Tessus, who falls in towards the pit. And Brokey's burning. He throws the smoke onto it to get rid of it. And that's a very interesting smoke up on top of the roof. Tessus does get the kill on the nade.
Yeah, I think FaZe missed their long corner smoke there. Ends up costing them the opening pick, perhaps, as Brocky eventually goes down over towards A long. But FaZe Clan looking to reposition over towards short. Heavy A presence early from OpTic. And now that they've got A long control, they can go back into a slightly more standard default setup. We also have 2 players committed to the B site for OpTic, so they've got themselves pretty solid hold across the board. And at this point, they can just sit back in that default.
Yeah, well, 53 seconds left. Man advantage is here for OpTic, and they don't really need to give anything up. FaZe Clan, it's up to them. And to show us what they're made of here. Olaf is going to be throwing this close cat smoke. They've done this a few times here, FaZe. They've committed on it a few times as well. MSL hasn't really been neutralized too effectively, though. There's times where he definitely can get flashed off an angle, but he's always good for at least a kill here. Usually we'll see a smoke land on these boost boxes, but FaZe haven't done that. And so MSL just knows they haven't walked past the smoke. He has all that info, and with 20 seconds left, FaZe Clan are going to have to go. They've got no utility available to them. And MSL will look back over towards long. Nico having to make a play here. This is looking so rough for FaZe. 10 seconds. They finally get on towards the bomb site. They've got the bomb plant. Nico has done enough to sort of pull MSL off, and they didn't really spot the push coming in towards short. Finally, the kills come in from the CT side, and it's all on Nico off towards long. Defuse can come in here, and Nico just trying to save. That is filthy. That is clean. That was the complete opposite, those two words, but Nico does pick up the headshot. And it's 5-3. FaZe Clan, yeah, definitely looking rough here.
Yeah, OpTic just stay in control of the round, letting the bomb go down, but realizing that they can fight off towards A long. And at that point, OpTic were in pretty good shape in on the retake. FaZe unable to do too much, and we're seeing these tactical timeouts start to come through, Dinko. This was something that came through earlier.
Well, yeah, FaZe definitely good at using their tactical timeouts. With this new roster, I don't really know how far they can go. You know, you've got Nico, who's the in-game leader, but he's obviously going to have to try and get suggestions from his team. They have probably not had a whole lot of time to come up with ideas and plans that can go in depth in scary situations like this, where you're really being tested by your opponent. And FaZe Clan are going to have to try and dig deep. This is a map they cannot lose. This is a map they have to win. Otherwise, they're gone from New York, and that'll be a massive blow. So even the crowd, you know, if you're the NA crowd, you want to see these players play. They've some great big names, big organization. FaZe Clan will definitely want to get to the Barclays Arena. Nico storms in towards long. It's going to be one kill, but MSL comes in for the trade.
Again, the AWP of MSL over towards A long, getting some work done at the start of the round. Cajun B also has a second AWP over on the A side of the map, so FaZe Clan need to be careful in these long-range fights. Rain continuing to look for a little bit more, but after the 1-for-1 trade, FaZe are happy to slow things down.
So man advantage is not available for either side. We're back into the 4v4, and FaZe Clan, something that's been working for them has been this contact play in towards long, where they just creep up. They haven't really spotted it. Finally, Cajun B spots the armor Brokey. That's the kill coming in. The pickoff comes through, and FaZe Clan, they've lost a player. They have to try and reply with limited utility yet again. Olafmeister burning. They start to move forward, and OpTic are just keeping them at bay. FaZe Clan are getting no opportunities to find trades, and the utility usage has been perfect from OpTic. FaZe Clan have nothing left, but a good Molotov comes in towards short to force them back. That was the last piece of utility that they had. Still no kills yet, but the bomb plant can come through here from coldzera. One kill coming in on towards Olafmeister as Nico starting his approach in behind. Rain, if he gets the timing, might just spot Nico flanking the ramp, and he's got that kill. Looks back towards short, but the config trade is there. It's all on coldzera. A 1v3, and we'll see if the Brazilian can do it. Former best player in the world has just been dropped by config, and it's 6-3 here. OpTic Gaming, they keep steaming forward, and this is not looking good for FaZe Clan and their chances of staying alive here in New York.
Yeah, OpTic getting a lot of early advantages in these rounds in terms of their fights towards A long, and then from there, they're happy to play the retake. They're happy to concede the site, knowing that they have an advantageous position for themselves. MSL gets Molly back over towards short, but at the end of it all, FaZe Clan can't really win out these post-plant positions, and you have to wonder whether FaZe Clan will try switching it up, maybe on towards that B site that they haven't tested too often.
Well, it will be a smoke landing in towards CT. Good execute this time for FaZe Clan, but again, the Molotov is going to force them back. Another one coming in. This has just been perfect from OpTic. The utility usage on the CT side has been pretty solid. We didn't really get to see it, unfortunately, against Astralis yesterday. Only managed to get one round on their T side. So things didn't look too well for them moving forward.
The issue if OpTic lose this B site is that they've got 2 AWPs over on A. So the retake could be difficult. It all depends on whether Config and Nico can lock down the site itself.
We'll see if FaZe Clan can get in towards the bomb site here as they are starting to get close. They're going to play the contact B push coming through, but it looks like Nico might just get the info here pretty early. If he can spot them and fall off, they can use the utility well. Nico realizes the push is coming in. There's going to be the kill from Config. No trade yet from FaZe Clan. Finally, OpMeister strikes in and coldzera finds the follow-up. He spots the player coming close as well as the smoke goes in for the door. 35 seconds, Rain. Oh my god, doesn't spot the player. Tessus doesn't see him either. And finally, the 1 kill will come through as Tessus picking that up. And Rain, hopefully that won't come back to bite him because that's one he'll be kicking himself about. Bomb plant coming through. It's going to be MSL with the Molotov heading towards the back of the bomb site. coldzera is currently playing from Plateau, and Nico just in below the window. So Molotov's going to force Cold to push forward here at this point. He tried to fall back, but he's just going to burn in it. Nico able to pick up MSL, and it's going to be a 2v2. Both players are low here on OpTic. A good chance to try and pick them up. It's going to be KGP getting dropped by Nico. Looks towards the window, but Tessus able to pick it up, and OpMeister with the kill on the AWP. Wins the 1v1 for FaZe Clan. It's 4 on the board.
Yeah, not a bad effort from OpTic there. The Molotov was obviously a good start for them to be able to get that first pick. But as you said, the low health players attempting the retake wasn't exactly the best idea, I guess, because they end up losing out. Interestingly, though, FaZe Clan have got a third AWP. Rain this time has a good A long spawn, so he's happy to take the sniper.
Well, Rain scoped in, looking off towards long. His teammate just walks on through once they know the angle is clear. So Cole can get in behind blue. Tessus needs to realize that's a possibility, and he certainly has done. He will take the kill on towards Cold. MSL looking in towards lower tunnel. Nico's just kind of trying to spot if there is a player here. Boosts on short are quite commonplace, and a great flashbang from Nico. Oh, that is a great kill coming through. Rain flashes his teammate in. Nico with an instant headshot on towards MSL. Completely expecting that boost, and well played. Back into a 4v4.
FaZe again slowing things down after getting the trade on towards MSL. They still have the AWP of Olaf, so they can wait and try to get some picks back into the round. The other thing is that Tessus is currently completely isolated over towards A long.
Well, Tessus sits in the pick. It's going to be the kill from Brokey coming in as the headshot is there. Man advantage is with FaZe. Molotov to the car. Nico flanking, playing the lurk role, but Config is ready for it, and Nico just had no idea. Good kill from OpMeister coming in. It is the trade. And the utility is going to drop in towards the cross. KGB in behind with a flashbang going over the top. Utility being thrown left, right, and center as Config starts to make the approach in. It's Brokey with another kill. He upgrades to the M4A4. And while KGB has a big clutch ahead of him, it's going to be so difficult with the player positioned in towards long. That's going to be OpMeister with the AWP. And also with Brokey and Rain on the side. So this is not going to be easy for KGB. He's just trying to play the time, waiting for a mistake, but none are coming his way. And he looks at the money for OpTic, and he realizes, probably better I try and save this M4. He will get a headshot while walking away. And it's not like FaZe Clan are in a position economically where they can afford to hunt him, so KGB will save his M4.
Yeah, good work from Brokey in that round as well. He was sent in first with the MAC-10 towards A long, probably just to get information, but he landed a great headshot while running, and then that allowed him to get the rifle that Tessus dropped. So he got an M4 into his hands. Olaf also was able to position himself into pit with the AWP, which is obviously a very strong position to be playing from with that sniper. He manages to spot the player on the A site, and FaZe managed to find some success over towards A. Unfortunately for OpTic, their money is not looking too great into this round. We're not going to see any investment into this one. It's just the saved rifle of KGB.
Well, one rifle available to rule them all, perhaps, for OpTic. We'll see if that is the case. It's Rain going on in. It's MSL in behind the car, looking to do his best for the USP, but this should just be a bulldozer as FaZe Clan run over the top of him. It's Rain with 2 kills. When it rains, it pours, it seems. It's Config and Tessus with the 2 USPs. Haven't got a whole lot to do here as Nico will get the bomb plant. KGB might just think about saving that M4 yet again. So going to be another one on the board here for FaZe Clan. Perhaps starting to stretch their legs a little bit, feel a little bit more comfortable here on Dust 2. Again, they traditionally, and the only time they played this, their CT side was their stronger affair. So if they can keep this up, win more on the T side, which is a real possibility, the way that they're playing or improving every time they go forward, they could certainly walk away with a pretty acceptable half.
Yeah, again, a pretty back and forth game, a pretty close game so far, but I don't think OpTic will be too disappointed with this right now. We're seeing some good signs. MSL's AWP has had quite a few rounds where he's had impact. We've seen some of the other individuals show up as well. Config's aim is still looking pretty solid for the most part. Obviously, KGB also up there in terms of the fragging. So I don't think OpTic are too worried just yet. Again, back to an even scoreline. Olof gets the AWP into his hands. Once again, Nico is having another good game for FaZe Clan. Currently top fragging the server. This time, though, there's no AWP for OpTic. We've seen them even run double AWP setups previously on their CT side. MSL only has the M4, but FaZe Clan are grouping quite heavily towards this B bomb site.
Well, Olof Meister starting to make his way through the mid doors. He's already through them, just holding the angle towards CT. Has Rain to back up his blind spot, which is off towards the B ramp. Smoke exec coming in. Smoke lands in towards CT cross, one up towards the boost, and Rain sprints around the corner. Grip flash from Nico. Launch for the kill on towards Config. KGB lining up 2 kills. MSL on the flank gets another, and KGB holds the B bomb site like a boss. One more player to find. It's Cold Zera, and he's off inside of the tunnels. Molotov heads on in. It's KGB finally dealt with, but it might not be enough here. Cold looking for the rest. Spotted from so many different angles, and you just don't envy him in that position. So it's going to be 7-6. OpTic Gaming back into the lead after they get the money back in the bank. So looking good here for OpTic. Back to winning ways, but FaZe Clan still not done yet.
Yeah, really solid hold from KGB there. Like you said, gets 3 kills over on that B bomb site. I was wondering when FaZe were going to test B on one of these more gun rounds, and finally they decide to do so. Doesn't work out for them though. OpTic this time stacking heavily towards A-Long at the start of the round. So again, they're looking to take control of A-Long. TeSeS is able to push up, and now OpTic begin to rotate back around, but there are smokes at CT cutting them off. Nico flashed through, gets the kill.
Well, TeSeS, he'll hold on as multiple players coming in towards him. This is not the sort of position you want to be in a lot of the time, but he deals with it well. 2 kills come his way. Unfortunately, with the timing, he pulls a piece of utility, and Olof Meister able to pick him up in reply. So it is a 2-for-1. TeSeS does a great job there. Luckily, Brokey's able to pull it back within touching distance, but he will get another. 100% thought he was going to fall there to Nico, but a great kill from the youngster as FaZe Clan, they pull it back into a 2v2. 1 minute left on the clock. They're exchanging weapons. AWP over towards Brokey. As Olof Meister's on the AK. And if that isn't Bogdan's theorem, I don't know what is.
They also have the 2 smokes available, so they could smoke the cross, or they could wait to see if Brocky can win one of these opening fights with the AWP. Flashbang to set up Brocky over towards Long. OpTic are not looking to fight him right now, though. They're playing it pretty passively from the A bomb site. MSL's AWP holding this angle, but here come those smokes I was talking about. First smoke down, second smoke to follow, and MSL's vision is compromised.
Well, MSL will just sit back and wait for them to come in towards him. MSL looking for the pick, misses the shot. Well, he's going to have to throw a smoke to try and get out of Gandalf. He will throw the Molotov in. It's not going to do a whole lot in too quick of time. Finally, KGB will get 2 kills. That Molotov forces them into the open, and the only thing left to do is defuse, as Olof Meister is not alive, ladies and gentlemen. It is all good. And, well, there it is. It will be one more on the board for OpTic. They confirm themselves at least a round lead moving into the second half. And for the chances of FaZe Clan, well, this might not look so great for them.
Yeah, this time TeSeS's A-Long hold was much improved as well. There were previous rounds where he was alone at A-Long and couldn't even get a single kill. But this time he gets 2, which gives his team such a solid chance in on the retake. And then Cajun B comes in with the cleanup. Again, Cajun B, oftentimes playing from that B site rotator, has been having a lot of impact for his team. And I think coming into the tournament, he's the player I was pointing out for OpTic who could be that star they were looking for. And Cajun has really impressed throughout this tournament.
He really has, and that's the thing, right? He's kept it up across Dust 2s, even against Astralis when they were getting dismantled. He still had a pretty positive experience of things in terms of the kills that he was getting. Will be a push in towards A long from FaZe Clan as they want to try and put Tessus under pressure, who has done a good job a few times here and there. We'll see if he can step up even more. And he pulls his gun at the wrong time. Nico able to drop her in. It will be a 4v4. It feels like we always get that equal trade over towards long. There's always, that battle always seems to be pretty equal. It's when they get on towards the bomb sites, just when FaZe Clan are falling a little bit flat at times.
Yeah, FaZe get control of A long. But where do they want to go from there? Because MSL has pushed up towards short. Config is also here to assist him. Config is actually just peeking in towards mid. He's comfortable doing so, but Brokey manages to catch him out. Maybe a little bit over-aggressive there from Config, searching for the information, and it gives FaZe a fairly easy man advantage.
Very easy indeed, really. I like the fact that Brokey's just been left to work middle. He's done a pretty good job at that. You know, he found the double kill in the round previous to even make it a 2v2 between him and Olaf. Been doing a pretty good job, and I like that they're giving him a good responsibility here on FaZe as they start to make their way in towards the B tunnels. Brokey leading the charge, Nico in behind them. Olaf's actually pushing in towards A long here as well. He's looking to be the fake, the only player here, but MSL will drop him. Cajun B holding off the cross. There's only 8 seconds left, Alex. They have to get towards the side. Colzair sprinting, desperately trying to get the bomb planted, and he's taking a hell of a lot of damage on the cross, and Cajun B, he'll finish him off. It's all on Nico. 1v3 for the Bosnian Bulldozer. He's got to find them all. He'll hide underneath the windows. Smoke fades. Player inside of the tunnels as well. MSL starting to make his position closer and closer towards the site. Molotov coming in. It's not extending to Nico, so he can hide. He can still use this position as he drops MSL. Finally, the Molotov spreads to him. He's forced into the open. It's Nico. He will drop him. And it'll be 9-6 at the half here for OpTic Gaming. Again, they lead 9-6. We're going to go to a short break, but when we return, we'll see if FaZe...
From the back roads to back streets, I see you foes trying to trap me, but I don't run like a track meet, even though I'm #1 like an athlete. And the way I maneuver around you and through you, I'm coming and I'm bound to pursue you. I'm everything that you knew of, plus more. What's in store is I'm about to get to you. Sleepless nights, better think this twice before you step to me and come and speak with strife. There's a lesson when you reach my life. It'll be chin-checking and I'll teach you right. Plenty tried, plenty failed. Too many times I've seen plenty bail. And there will be no surprise what I'm about to do when you are looking through my eyes. See many go, see many come. See that they won't bring it to me, son. Try me if you want, but won't be any fun. I'll take the challenge. I'll beat anyone. I'm the one. I'll be quite clear. Bow down to no one. I'm right here. I get it in. I don't fight fair. And guess what? I'm your worst nightmare. Cause I ain't taking no losses. And I don't even care what the cost is. Are you prepared for the forces I'm about to bring? Cause I'm the boss of all bosses. I penetrate your thoughts and fill them with doubt. You gon' feel where I'm coming and feel what I'm about. If they come in with the drama, I'm wheeling them out. Cause I ain't about to have somebody here stealing my clout. I keep my friends close, enemies closer. Cause that's the way it is and the way it's supposed to be. Anybody can see there's only room for one, and that one is me. Plenty tried, plenty failed. Too many times I seen plenty bail. And there will be no surprise what I'm about to do when you are looking through my eyes. See many go, see many come. See that they won't bring it to me, son.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to ESL 1 New York. We've got some incredible matchups going up, and this one is no different. It's 9-6 here. It's OpTic Gaming leading the way by 3, and FaZe Clan, well, they're currently a map down in the series, and they're also 3 rounds down on their map pick. So they've got to step up in a big way. The CT side was their statistically better side. We'll see if that is the case moving into the second half.
Yeah, FaZe were able to at least get some rounds in that first half, but overall, OpTic edging it out. Again, Cajun B having a lot of impactful rounds. MSL's AWP coming into play in quite a few of them. And other than that, the rest of the team was solid as well. So we have to see what FaZe Clan can do heading into this second half.
Well, again, it is going to be some utility available for FaZe Clan, not as much as they previously had. OpTic, though, it's going to be Cajun B and a nade of the flash, also MSL carrying the same. So we'll see if they're ready for this. They were waiting for that mid-aggression from Astralis yesterday in the pistol. We'll see if they can deal with it this time, as Nico is trying to make his way up. It's going to be Nico looking for the early peak, but Nico gets it. So man advantage was there for FaZe, but the trade for OpTic, but the trade comes in from Rain. And we're into a 4v4 as Rain has to back off short in towards CT. Tess is continuing the push, looking for the headshots for the OpTic side as Config is able to pick up Rain. It's just looking good for OpTic at the minute, but Coldzera stepping in. Olofmeister finding the headshot, but Config again with another clean one. It's all on the Olofmeister. A 1v2, 2 different angles, and he's just got the worst position for it. It's Config that seals the deal with a triple kill, and it's 10-6 here for OpTic Gaming.
Yeah, really solid trades from OpTic there in that round. That's what they were really relying on to pull them through. Just trading in towards mid, in towards short. And then at the end there, as you said, just the double peek onto the last man basically guarantees the round win. Very well done by OpTic. And now FaZe are going for the force buy. 10-6 down. If they lose this, they could fall really far behind. So quite a heavy investment into this round from FaZe, but you can always know that FaZe can do damage with the digs, with the scouts. They certainly have the aim to do so. Exactly,
this is what they became famous for, right? When they first put this roster together, or when FaZe sort of turned into the superstar roster, shall I say, back at one of the first ESL 1 New Yorks, where they just went on that clean run. Ended up the victors of it, but it's going to be the push in towards long. It's going to be Nico, who's dropped to 30 HP. Nico looking back for more, but headshot comes in from the Galil. It's going to be the man advantage coming in from OpTic as they start to make their way through. It's Brokey with 1 kill. Config stepping in, and there's the Deagles you're talking about. The damage can be done by Ray, and he's looking for more, and whiffs the last few shots, but there's still a chance here. Still 2 players standing. 2v3. Coldzera with a headshot. Molotov lands on them, burning, but Brokey tries to peek into the open. And Cajun B's grabbed that. Coldzera, he's already picked up 1 on the Deagle, but needs 2 more. It has to be an incredible clutch from the Brazilian. The tap comes in on the bomb. Coldzera plays on the edge of the smoke, looking for the car aggressor, but there's no one there. The player has just rotated off back over towards long. He's got to peek in towards MSL Scout. This is going to be difficult for Cold. He doesn't hit the shot, goes for the reload. And Cajun B stands tall on the site. This is going to be very difficult to get anywhere near the site. Good crossfire from OpTic, and they will get another here on the board. 11-6, and the force buy doesn't really work for FaZe.
Yeah, not able to get the round win. They kept it close, but close is not enough at this point. OpTic have a great chance to gain a 12-6 lead. And this is somewhat reminiscent of Nuke right now. OpTic took quite a strong lead at the start of the second half back on that first map, and then they slowly but surely closed it out. In this one, FaZe on the full low buy tried to stack the B site, which might be the correct call. OpTic are about to move in.
Well, Here comes the push. OpTic starting to rush in towards the site. Config able to pick up Nico. Olaf and Rin managed to pull 2 away with the P250s. Another one coming in from Olaf Meister as he lines up 2 more. But Nico will come in for the cleanup, getting the 2 kills just in the nick of time. But that became very scary for OpTic as Olaf out of nowhere deals them damage with a P250. And 12-6, OpTic would have liked to have won that one slightly cleaner, but at least they've got the round win.
Yeah, Olaf comes so close to carrying them through that round. Doesn't happen in the end, though, and FaZe decide to go for a double AWP setup. Nico this time picking up one of the AWPs. It really feels like they are tossing these snipers around quite a lot on the FaZe clan side. Nico currently looking over towards lower tunnel, spots the head, but not quite landing the shot.
That was very close to landing, though. There's not quite the haircut he was looking to give, and MSL will be looking down towards middle. Cold Zera, he is here, and OpTic have probably got a bit of a nightmare about this mid position against Opers. This time MSL deals with it. No kills for Cold.
And again, it's MSL getting the entry for his team. We've seen this a lot from MSL on the AWP. OpTic in with the early man advantage. FaZe sitting back pretty passively over towards this A site, but Nico takes an advanced position and it pays off for him.
Yeah, catches off MSL, and he's not really having too much luck against Nico in these boosts, right? MSL attempted the boost on the CT side, and Nico was ready from that from lower tunnel. Attempts it here on the T side, and Nico again stopping it. So Nico is the bin of MSL's existence at the minute, and you have to remember back to Nuke, it was quite the opposite, right? So Nico holding on towards short, looking for the pick again, goes aggressive just at the right time. Catches Config with a nade in his hand, and that's going to be the man advantage for FaZe Clan. Olaf might be able to follow up as well. Flash comes around the corner. Tessus looking to line them up, but Olaf with another. Nico, he's also there if needed, but Cajun B makes the right call just to go for the bomb plant. But winning this 1v4 is going to be impossible. He sprays away, and Olaf's got him. 3 kills on the AUG. And that'll be one more on the board for FaZe Clan. It is the start of a comeback, but it's got to be a lot more than this. It's definitely going to be difficult for the FaZe side. Okay, don't pull a G2, guys. Come on. There we go.
Yeah, nice hold from Olaf. Obviously, Nico also getting involved with the AWP. I wonder if we will see Nico stick with the AWP now. What are FaZe looking for here? They're delaying the defuse. They've already got 2 AWPs.
Utility, I guess, just lying around. AKs, maybe. But 12-7. Chance here for FaZe Clan to develop a comeback. The money is not good on OpTic. Comes back to that P250 round from Olaf Meister, doing a hell of a lot of damage, forcing a lot of rebuys. Coming down to only 1 player remaining in OpTic. So there's a slight chance here for FaZe to pull this one back.
Again, it is Nico sticking with that AWP. Even though we've seen a lot of AWPing from Olaf Meister, he is not taking either of the 2 AWPs available. OpTic moving straight up short with the Glock train.
Well, here they go. MSL is going to be charging straight through with the Glock in his hands. Up on towards the site, tapping away. It's 1 kill from Cajun B, and very scarily, nearly another one on towards Nico, but the bomb plant will come through here. OpTic will be happy with this already. You've got 1 kill of bomb plant, and you literally invested nothing. That is ridiculous so far from OpTic. And FaZe Clan are going to be pretty scared by that. You can see they're not going straight away into the retake. They want to make sure that they're ready for this. You don't really expect it to come this close, to be honest. Brokey does take away Config. Tessus and Cajun B getting 2 more kills on the Glocks. It's a 1v2, and Cajun B has an AWP, looking for another kill. The bomb is being defused, though. Olaf Meister, he will get the win here. The bomb's not planted for Cajun B, but that is ridiculous that it comes that close. That was only Glocks, Alex.
Yeah, that was a pretty big oversight from FaZe to leave short wide open and not be aware of the players potentially pushing through to the A site and then taking the fights towards long. And then Cajun was in on this lurk, making sure he was able to pick up the AWP.
If that bomb's planted for him, he wins that.
Oh, yeah.
That is ridiculous that that's even come that close. The only thing that wins FaZe Clan that round is that the bomb's planted for short. So there it is. Another one on the board for FaZe, but they're not going to be happy about that. Should I say, the way they won it. Config getting boosted up, looking for the aggressive peak. Perhaps expecting FaZe to put a little bit more attention towards short.
Ooh,
no, that's a great flash. Nico had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, nice flash from Olof to set up his teammate, and the response from OpTic, now that they're a man down, they want to move quickly towards mid.
Yeah, Rain, he's going to be hiding in the smoke. Coldzera has been dealt with by Cajun B, and here comes the push in towards the B bomb site. Good kill from Rain, but Config finds another. Brokey has no idea Tessus is close, and the headshot comes in. Config with a follow-up, it's all on Olof, and this is looking good for OpTic. 13-8 is the scoreline that is looking completely likely at this point. Olofmeister looking to see if he can find anything towards the bomb site. I think it would be ill-advised to attempt to retake this site, so he's looking for a couple of exits, see if he can pick off a few more players here. He knows the money in OpTic's not going to be in a brilliant place, but because of the round that FaZe just had, where they nearly had the absolute disaster against the Glocks, their money's not great either, so kind of has to do some damage, and Config will take him away. So nothing of value moving forward here for FaZe. It's got to be an eco here, surely. And that'll put them up to 14 OpTic, 14-8. You're starting to really get into dangerous territory if you're FaZe.
Yeah, I think that round comes down to the quick call from OpTic to move towards mid. After they lost the first fight towards long, they realized both Olof and Nico were there. So it's unlikely that OpTic are going to run into too many players at the B site. And once they get those smokes down towards mid, they just up the pace, get the trades to go their way, and leave FaZe with a really lackluster investment into round 22.
FaZe do pull most of their players in towards middle. OpTic have already got up towards short though, so it's like ships passing in the night. Utility coming in towards CT. Nico held off, can't really do a whole lot from his position. Asia B does drop Rain, spots the flank coming in, smokes it off, spots another player, calls that to his teammate Nico. He'll happily collect it, and things are falling apart here for FaZe, not finding any success on their zero investment round. So 14-8 is the scoreline here. OpTic looking solid, looking strong, and they might just be moving forward here in New York and staying alive, as FaZe Clan might be punching their digits and their ticket home.
MSL has that AWP again, and this time there's no one there to match it on the FaZe side of things. We've seen MSL be able to get entries with that AWP in the past. This time he's just holding the mid-cross at the start of the round. Not able to connect the shot this time around. A must-win round for FaZe if they want to win in regulation. Boost coming in from lower tunnels. OpTic slowly but surely clearing all the possible positions. Coldzera is playing close towards the mid doors. Very difficult to fall back from this angle, and Config gets the initial entry.
He does indeed, man. Advantage here for OpTic. Looking to grab map point. There'll be a smoke going in towards CT, but a good push from Olofmeister. He does catch off Tessus. Follow-up smoke coming in. Nico held back, but he's going to peek right through it. He needs to get the timing working here with Brokey. Brokey needed at least a kill there. Unfortunately, he doesn't line them up. Nico gets two. And there's still a chance here for FaZe, thanks to that play from Nico. MSL in towards the site. Rain flanking in from the tunnels. Still a chance here for FaZe. MSL looks back towards the tunnels. This is Cajun B who falls, and MSL has it all to do. A 1v2 with the AWP inside of the B bomb site. Catches off Olofmeister and switches to the AK. He can make a beeline for the A bomb site. He knows where the last player is, and Rain is so low. 15 HP, MSL's just sprinting back towards A, and Rain, he might just walk into it. MSL's got it. It's map point for OpTic, and MSL wins the 1v2.
What a clutch from MSL. He takes the fight towards mid, knowing that if he gets that kill, that the second player in tunnels is in really bad shape. And then he reads it perfectly. He realizes that Rain is going to rotate over. Great work from him. OpTic Gaming firing on all cylinders right now. And we thought Dust 2 would be the map where FaZe's individuals show up. In a lot of these rounds, it's been OpTic showing up in those clutch moments, in those key situations. They are coming out on top. This is really impressive stuff from OpTic. Nice shot from Olof, though. However, Config has got the quick trade back to a 4v4.
Well, Olofmeister getting boosted up. He will look down in towards the pit. Flash comes in from Nico. Olofmeister will get the tag on towards MSL, dropping in towards the pit, so he's dropped to 21. Not a kill, though, so it's still a 4v4.
OpTic still just sitting on long. Maybe waiting for MSL's AWP, who gets the chance to pull the trigger, but doesn't quite have the quick enough reactions. The rest of the team, though, slowly sneaking up through A long.
Well, Olaf Meister going to be here with the scout in his hands. Flashes in, his config. That'll pick up Olaf. Man advantage here for OpTic, looking to try and make it happen. Looking to try and send FaZe Clan packing from New York. There will be a jumping attempt. Brokey able to get one in the 5-7. A valiant effort from Nico, but he's dealt with by Cajun B. It's all on coldzera, the newbie to the team, in a 1v3. He's picked up the first. The last two remaining players are low, but it's going to still be difficult. The UMP in hand, jump spots, does a lot of damage onto Nico, but unfortunately can't drop him to his death. Peeks in towards MSL. It's just a matter of time. No, headshot from Cold. A jumping headshot. He'll look back in towards Long, but MSL will seal the deal and send FaZe Clan packing. They will not be in the Barclays Arena, as OpTic will take 2-0.
Getting flashbacks to the jumping AWP from Cold there. He seems so good in midair, but it's not enough. OpTic Gaming showing really impressive signs there on Dust 2.
Yeah, they were looking solid. I think obviously the preparation has started to come through when they're up against a team like FaZe. Not a juggernaut like Astralis. I think a lot of teams are going to struggle against Astralis, and OpTic, well, they showed signs of life in Vertigo. I think picking a map like Vertigo into Astralis after the way they played it at the Major is pretty impressive. It's a pretty ballsy thing to do, and well, OpTic showed that they were well prepared for it.
Yeah, and here on Dust 2, I think the individuals on OpTic were what impressed me the most. We saw many rounds where Cajun B would step up, MSL stepping up in clutches. Just seeing how skilled this roster can be now with Cajun in the mix is really exciting signs for OpTic.
Yeah, well, FaZe Clan, obviously, they are going home, but there is positive signs here for FaZe. I think obviously Brokey played pretty well for his first big event. I think he had definitely signs of life. coldzera, you know, he did have some quiet series, but that's to be expected. It is a new roster. FaZe Clan, you know, they've openly said this tournament, yes, they'd love to play well at it, but New York's not one they expect to do well at, right? It's an ESL Pro League, the future tournaments they're going to be looking towards. And with this roster, there is potential moving forward.
Yeah, and that's where you'd expect FaZe to have a much more solidified map pool into the future, because they couldn't even win their own map picks in this tournament, probably because they didn't have enough time to really get a map that they felt fully confident on. Here on Dust 2, it felt like maybe they picked this because they thought OpTic would be weak on this one. As we were saying though, OpTic definitely showed rounds that were close against Astralis, and here, again, they really impressed with how well their individuals played. I think that was the main thing for me for OpTic. We knew that they'd probably have the tactical backbone with MSL, but to see players like Cajun B right now 21 for 7 on the scoreline in this highlight, that's a ridiculous stat line.
Cajun B's been playing consistently like that as well. So if OpTic can keep that up with the performances of Config at a great level, alongside the likes of MSL, you certainly have a winning formula here for OpTic. They could certainly take down teams coming into this tournament and really start to impress on the world stage again. Here are the closer stats. We'll take a closer look at how people finish the series. Config 23-16 here. Obviously Nico, the OpTic Nico, 16-18, had a good performance on the first map. MSL lighting up the scoreboard here, and Cajun B obviously head and shoulders above the rest and 25-9.
Yeah, Cajun played well on Dust 2 yesterday as well. Probably the one player for OpTic that did show up, so clearly a map that he likes to play.
Yeah, well, FaZe Clan, I think a positive sign moving forward for this team is that Olaf is back, right? He's playing really solidly. It's not just been a one-off event at the Major. It's here in New York as well. He's playing well, and that's a really good sign to see, because Olaf, everyone knows that what level he's capable of reaching.
Definitely. Again, that's the nice thing about this FaZe Clan roster, is that if one of your other star players doesn't show up, then maybe someone else will, like Olaf, who maybe hasn't been a star player for FaZe in recent sort of years. He's now coming into that form that we know he's capable of.
Yeah, I feel like moving forward with this FaZe Clan roster, they'll start to realize what sort of roles work, what works for this team, because right now they're going to have every player that's just been a star on the team, they're going to toss them all into one roster, and figuring out how to make that work is not going to be an easy feat.
Yeah, not going to be easy to figure that one out, especially, I think, with Brokey on the team. You don't really want to put him in roles that he is maybe uncomfortable with, being such a new player, but it feels like that's maybe how it's going to work out, because he is the most inexperienced player. He can't really come into this squad and ask for his roles, so I think Brocky is going to have to be willing to play a more supportive element for this squad.
Yeah, I feel like Brocky is definitely going to have to learn a different role, because he's always been the star in the teams he's played in. In Epsilon, he was head and shoulders above the rest, got to do whatever he wanted, probably played a very loose style of play, but he's not going to be able to do that here in this FaZe Clan roster. And will he be able to adapt to that supportive element? I don't know. I think we'll have to wait and see. He is a young player. He can be molded into whatever happens. And, you know, he has got some experienced players that can sort of show him the way, I guess. There isn't that one leader or that one player, though, on FaZe that you kind of feel has that tactical experience. But I think together they'll come up with something.
I think at least on the CT side, Brocky looks like he's fitting in pretty well. He had quite a few rounds where he'd get double kills on the hold. He'd do his job pretty solidly. For example, on Nuke over towards Ramp, he was doing a fairly good job. I think maybe on the T side is where he could struggle a bit more to find his footing. And just in general for FaZe, I think the T side of Dust 2, we saw quite a few rounds where maybe the nades were slightly off, the timings were slightly off, but you'd assume that that will come with time for this roster.
Definitely. Well, after that matchup, we're going to take a little look at the conclusion of the Group B bracket. We're going to see how things are looking in that one. We're going to take a closer look. Astralis obviously taking OpTic down in the opening game. They went on to play Evil Geniuses over on the mainstream. OpTic Gaming, they took on FaZe Clan, and they have moved into that next game where obviously they get a chance to qualify for the Stadium semi-finals. And that will obviously be against the loser of Astralis versus Evil Geniuses. So not going to be an easy opponent, whichever one comes out of that. Evil Geniuses currently a map up against Astralis. That was Dust 2 as well. So pretty impressive stuff. Evil Geniuses are looking great coming into this tournament. They have been the bane of Astralis in the past at the major. So OpTic, no matter who they go up against here, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, and as for FaZe, not winning a single map at this tournament, again, obviously a little bit concerning, but like you said, they're not really expecting too much here at New York. I think at this point, they need a bit of time to get some practice together to get this squad going.
They did get dealt a pretty difficult hand, though, didn't they, FaZe Clan? You're coming into this, you're not playing against the easiest of opponents, starting off against Evil Geniuses, who are currently a map up against Astralis. That is not an easy team to beat, either. You come in against OpTic, you're well prepared and looking strong today. Well, it's not easy for them. So FaZe, there is some positive signs, but overall, it just didn't work for them here in New York today.
Yeah, and as for OpTic, I think seeing those individuals show up is definitely promising, but again, against either Astralis or Evil Geniuses, you can't expect your individuals to carry you through. You can't expect your individuals to be better than your opponents there. I mean, Breezy's been having unreal form recently just for that Evil Geniuses squad, so they're going to have to rely on more than just that. But again, there does look like there's a tactical backbone for this team. I think it's just a case of either of those teams is just such a difficult opponent.
Well, it's been a great 2 days here on the B stream, but that's us done on this stream. We have, of course, got the A stream still running. We've got some more games coming up on that one, so we're going to take a look at the schedule. And, of course, Astralis are playing Evil Geniuses currently over on that A stream, so if you're interested, head on over there. And, obviously, ENTS versus G2 will be coming up a little bit later on, and that one's definitely going to be a spicy rematch where, obviously, G2 had taken down ENTS earlier today, and OpTic, well, they'll be playing later on today against the loser of one of those matches. And that is definitely going to be a very spicy affair. But that does leave nothing here on the stream but else to thank you guys at home for watching. Thank Alex here on the desk, trooping through his cold and his sore throat and all the production involved. We've had an excellent time here on the stream at the ESL 1 New York B stream. Join us next time.
They've taken it like proper sportsmen at this stage.
We're about to have the question answered of who really is the best of all time.
All 5 players are just great players.
They're both with their knives out. They're both not ready, and somehow Stewie stays alive. Stewie's not getting arrested. He gets by Apex.
We're here to only win. We don't care who we play. We don't care if it's simple, the best player in the world. We don't care if it's the worst player in the world.
Son intelligence de jeu, même quand il avait 6-7 ans, c'était assez incroyable.
Donc au début, on était meilleur que lui.
Je pense c'est à partir de ses 14 ou 15 ans qu'il a commencé à être meilleur.
Au début, quand il perdait, c'était un très mauvais perdant. Hein.
Oui, je me souviens très bien qu'il cassait beaucoup de souris.
Tell him we're flexible.
Don't worry. My Dutch is okay.
Just okay?
Mm-hmm. Deze man is erg super.
Tell him we need this merger.
En hij heeft een knuffel nodig.
Knuffel?
It's happening.
Just okay is not okay, especially when it comes to your network. AT&T is America's best wireless network according to America's biggest test. Now with 5G evolution, the first step to 5G. More for your thing. That's our thing.
This is game fuel. It's domination in a can.
Aw, tastes like loser tears.
New Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel. Victory in a can.
So this is it. This is where it all started. The great business of DHL.
You remember when we still use these?
We have all come a long way since then.
Hey, Effie, my little buddy. I got a special job for you. And this is only the beginning.
I've been there since the beginning. Every map, every frag, every moment. I run, but I never hide. With knowledge comes power, and power is to be wielded wisely. Which is why, as the expert, I bet with Betway. If you know CSGO, then you'll know the best way to bet on esports is with Betway, for the love of the game.
I was dancing on my own when you spilled that ramen coke on my t-shirt. Yeah, your eyes made it difficult to get my baby. And the next thing I knew,